Great distress to me with that. You know, there's times where it does get to me, but then I also remember the bigger picture is that, hey, God he's not going to put anything on me that I can't bear. So, you know, I thank him for building my mind, my body, my soul in that kind of structure that I can still focus and concentrate and see the bigger picture. Yeah, that doesn't come and go. Yeah, bigger picture, you know. So, yeah.
At the Lyndon Bindling International Airport, I'm Corvell Pyfrom. This is ZNS.
It's What's Trending with Jiminita Swain and the Bahama Beauty. At the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. From Studio A. It all starts right now.
It's What's Trending on a Tuesday. I'm Ianthea Ferguson with today's look at who's making headlines, what's making the highlights, and where you should be going next. Because yes, it's our mission to keep you in the know with the latest in lifestyle and entertainment. Coming up on today's show, from Nassau to Nova Scotia, Bahamian culture is making waves in Canada. The Acadia Junkanoo Group just brought rhythm, color, and island pride to the university's homecoming parade. And the reaction? We'll chat with the club's president and the Bahamian music director behind the beat. That's coming up next. Plus, today may be Origami Day around the world, but here in the Bahamas, we've got our own way of bringing paper to life. Junkanoo season is in full swing, and instead of folding, we're pasting. We'll be joined by a Junkanoo artist who's giving us a hands-on look at the creative process that brings those vibrant costumes to Bay Street. And finally, Trend Tracker is coming up in today's show. We're diving into the biggest stories from local news to global buzz and everything in between. Stick around, more What's Trending when we come back.
Diet-friendly special.
Our company offers a simple philosophy, open hands. What do open hands mean? If you keep your hands closed, nothing comes in, nothing goes out. If you keep your hands open, a lot of things comes in, a lot of things goes out. We cannot expect to be a successful company without blessing our community and blessing our country.
My good friend and valued client, Dominic Stirrup, approached me following a meeting we had and told me of the idea that he had of feeding 10,000 Bahamians on Thanksgiving.
There was a lot of details to put together, had to figure out how to get it done. But at the end, it was worth it. At the end, it gave me a heart of gratitude to know that our company is reaching out to so many persons.
We invite you on a journey to witness an extraordinary chapter in the story of the Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, a tale of compassion, unity, and the true spirit of Thanksgiving.
There's nothing quite like the sound of Junkanoo, and now that sound is echoing all the way in Canada.
Culture and Color, presented by Dongaluk Studios Art Gallery.
The Junkanoo Club at Acadia University just hosted their very first homecoming Junkanoo Rush Out in Wolfville, Nova Scotia, and it's got both Bahamians and Canadians buzzing. Joining us now via Zoom are Deja Forbes, President, and Music Director Trayvon Nichols of the Acadia Junkanoo Club, the Bahamian guiding this cultural showcase. Welcome to What's Trending, guys. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Awesome. So, Deja, I have to start with you. What was it like bringing this full-on Bahamian Junkanoo experience to a Canadian campus like Acadia?
It's an opportunity. I think that's the best way I can describe it.
And what was the reaction like, not just from the Canadians and other students, but also the Bahamians who may have been maybe homesick a little bit just to hear that Junkanoo music, see those drums, see those cowbells? What was the reaction like for them?
Joyful. They have it's been just overwhelmingly positive. Students that I honestly didn't even know had known about the Junkanoo Club were at the event, and you could just tell that people were really happy about it, and it felt like you were at home. It didn't feel like you were on Main Street.
Right. And so for you, Trayvon, then, you're the director of the music. So talk to us about the cowbells, the drums, the whistles. Like, how did you pull this all together? What were some of the songs y'all played? I need to know all of it. Put me in the scene.
Absolutely. So at the moment, we have our bass drums, our tom-toms, cowbells. We have someone blowing the conch shell. We're working on getting the brass together, but, that's coming soon. But when it really comes to getting everyone together, this is a group of people who, majority of them have never done Junkanoo before. So the main thing was getting them all on the same page, really. This is a rookie group, but we got them together, really a whole bunch of practices, really, especially coming close to the parade. Practices every day, rain, snow, or shine practices at 5:30. That was really the thing that got them together.
And so, Deja, back to you. Now, this must have been some level of coordination. I see y'all got dancers, the blowers, and y'all have a full-on Junkanoo group going on here. How did you pull this all together in between the classes, the exams, all of that stuff? How did you guys just pull this together so perfectly?
You have a strong point. It's definitely been a lot. It's taken a lot of work behind the scenes for sure. I've definitely sharpened a lot of my skills. I've had to do verbal advertising, media advertising. Like Trayvon said, when we're coming up closer to an event, just scheduling extra practices for that week to make sure that we are on point.
And Trayvon, did you reach back out to Junkanoo who was here to be like, hey, what song should we play? Which song was rocking on Bay Street? Did you guys reach back out to the Junkanoo who was back home to say, hey, we're doing this thing. What should we do? How should we proceed?
Oh man, see, I'm a member of the music champions, the Saxon Superstars. There's not too far up to go,
Just a phone call away. So, Deja, what's next for this Junkanoo group? When y'all gonna build a shack next at Acadia University? Because look like y'all all in with this experience. What's next for this group?
I mean, we have a lot planned. We've gotten a few things done so far. Some of our upcoming initiatives is looking to bring Junkanoo into local schools in Canada. So we're hoping that we can collaborate with Canadian high schools, middle schools, or even preschools to expose these children to different cultural kinds of music. We also would like to bring music to people with different abilities. So I used to volunteer with an organization that focused on music and art and dance and play with people that have different physical abilities. So one of our goals is to bring music to them, to bring Junkanoo to them, to expose them to this thing. And it's really fun. And that group, they love music. They love to dance and just be a part of it. So I'm really looking forward to collaborating with them on that. And we just hope to collaborate with other clubs. So I'm a member of several other clubs. Most of our members are members of other clubs. So it's given us this opportunity to just keep working with one another in different ways and supporting their events. And that's actually how we got into our second event, a club that I am a part of. The Junkanoo Club actually had a space to perform there, so that was really good. So just increasing club collaboration for the rest of the school year. So
okay,
that's what we're looking forward to.
Awesome. And so for Bahamians who may be watching this, studying abroad, they're feeling homesick, can't get that pumpkin rice, can't get that peas and rice, can't hear Junkanoo the way they want to hear it, what advice would you give them for just staying connected to the culture while they're away from home? Deja, you can go first, and then Trayvon, you.
Okay. Advice that I would give them, I feel like you have to put in the effort to make it happen. I think that anybody would be not telling the truth if we said that the Junkanoo Club just kind of flowed seamlessly into place, because it didn't. It took a lot of late hours and early mornings and are you free? And actually last minute, can you do this? So I think that like we have what we have, the space that we have that fosters the music and the connection and the food.
Yes.
It's because we've been willing to go the extra mile to bring in things that are not close to us, who sometimes have to put in our own money. We try to avoid it, but the truth is, you know, sometimes you have to sacrifice. So be willing to put that sacrifice in to bring in what you want to see happen. And once you connect with a committed group of people, eventually it will happen.
Yes, nice. And what about you, Trayvon? How have you been staying close, even outside of being a part of the Junkanoo Club? Or what advice would you give?
Oh, the advice I would give is, you know, if you can't go home to the culture, you know, bring the culture to you.
I like it.
Well, yeah, you know, like me, you know, I got to practice for Junkanoo on Bay, you know, so this is just the perfect opportunity.
Awesome. So maybe we'll see the AJC on Bay Street one day, maybe? Maybe? Ooh. Well, what an amazing way to share the spirit of the Bahamas with the world. Deja, Trayvon, thank you both so much for joining us and for giving us a taste of home from abroad. Congratulations on what a successful rush out you guys had. And we can't wait to see where AJC takes Bahamian culture next. Well, sticking with the greatest show on earth, I get my own crash course in pasting. Let's get artsy. That's after the break.
May be tough, but Wendy's got you covered. Grab a Dave's single or chicken sandwich with a junior fries and 16-ounce beverage for just $6.95. Why choose less from the other guys when you can get more? At Wendy's, we're providing bigger bites and better deals. So purchase your Tings Tough Value Meal today. Now available at all locations excluding the airport and food truck.
What's trending in business? Who's making major money moves? And how's it shaping your future? This is Economics, your front row seat to the biggest stories in business, innovation, and finance. Powered by the Sand Dollar, the digital currency of the Central Bank of the Bahamas. It's fast, that matter. Get informed, get inspired, get in the mix with Economics.
Got termites and need to get rid of them fast? Trust Rentokil Initial. With over 60 years experience in the Bahamas, the global brand, training, and expertise can't be beat. Only Rentokil Initial gives you a 3-year warranty and payment plan options on termite fumigation. No one can match the range of treatments we offer, such as fumigation, pre-construction treatments, termite monitoring, and more. No matter where you are in the Bahamas, we will come to you. When it comes to complete termite eradication, there's only one name, Rentokil Initial.
Hi, I'm Brent Burrows, Vice President of Retail and Sales here at CBS Bahamas. When it comes to hardware or home improvement items, we guarantee the lowest prices. That's our price match guarantee. If you find anything we sell for a lower price anywhere in the Bahamas, let us know about it. We will beat that price. We want your business. Shop at CBS Bahamas or cbsbahamas.com.
It's Origami Day, so while people around the world are celebrating the unique art of folding paper into beautiful shapes, here in the Bahamas, our take on the art form is playing a different tune. Junkanoo season is heating up, and that means hours in the shack cutting, pasting, and creating colorful costumes we all love. Joining us today is Robert Johnson, a proud Junkanooer, to show us exactly how the magic happens. Welcome to the show, Robert.
How you doing?
Good. Thanks so much for being here.
Happy
So
to be here.
pasting, this is our way of bringing paper to life, those colorful costumes on Bay Street. Where do we start? How do we get into it? What does pasting mean in Junkanoo terms?
All right, well, pasting is just basically putting paper on cardboard. The first thing you want to do after you build your costume is paint it white. Because if you don't paint it white, it's going to be brown.
Okay.
And then that brown undertone is going to come through the colors and it won't be able to pop. So you basically prepare your canvas with the white paint.
Okay.
Then you have a long sheet of paper, crepe paper, basically like festival paper that they use in piñatas and what's not. What you do is you take your shears and you fringe it, right?
Okay.
So you would cut it, and then it's going to end up looking like this. You're going to have a frilly end, right?
Right.
And then you just cut it into strips, however big you want to cut it in. So this is the point that we're at right now. So what you have to do now is open your paper. So just open it up, smack it, right? So you don't have to peel it off.
Okay,
right?
got you.
Now, the basics in pasting a costume is this. You always paste your lighter colors first, because if you put this gold down and this white go over the gold, it's gonna flow into the gold, whereas you could paste a darker color over the white and it'll hide it.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
got
So
you.
you make less work for yourself.
Okay.
Right? But we're gonna break the rules right now, because what I wanna do is use the white to break up the darker colors.
Okay, got you.
Usually try to do that.
Okay.
Sometimes you can get away with it, but we can break the rule, right? So you start with purple.
Okay. What am I doing?
I'll start with yellow. So
All right.
after you open it up, right? Actually, you know what? You start with white.
Start with the white? All right.
Start with white. Give me some of your white.
Yeah, take some.
Take some of your white.
So how long have you been in Junkanoo? And like, is this your favorite part of it, or this like the more laborious, tiring part of
The pasting part is the most fun part for me, because it's serene, right? You get to sit down, take your time, listen to music, and you could just go for yourself.
Okay.
Right? Now, another thing is, this is a blank piece of paper, right? Or cardboard. What happened is the design team will come up with a concept.
Okay.
They'll draw in lines, and then you have to have the skill to fill in those lines, right? But here's the basics. So you grab your brush, right? You could pick yours first.
All right.
Whichever one's
This
more
is just some
comfortable for you.
regular
school glue.
Elmer's glue. All right.
You want to just dip the tip of the brush in.
Because my hand heavy. All right.
Right? And what you want to do is just, you could put your cup down. You could just start to put a layer at the bottom of the, not all over, at the bottom, at the very bottom.
Bottom, see?
Bottom. Right? You want to line the bottom of the cardboard.
All right, so I got it now.
You want it to be filmy. You don't want it to be like too much.
Not too gunky.
Right.
All right.
So you have a nice little line right there about the size, about the width of the brush.
Okay,
right?
got you.
So keep going. There you go. If you could see white in the glue, that's too much glue.
I know, it looks like...
nice and filmy,
yeah,
right?
just shiny.
Right.
All right.
Good word, shiny,
Shiny.
Right? You grab one strip of paper, right? Make sure the frill or the fringe is facing downward.
Facing downward,
right? And all you do is apply it to the cardboard, right? From left to right. And then you just, smooth it down in as straight a line as possible.
Okay.
Right? Boom. Once you get there, take the residue off the brush and just...
kind of baking it in.
There you go.
All right.
That's your first layer, in basic terms, right? Now, there should be enough glue on this to take another layer, right? Another strip, and do the same thing.
So just kind of like...
You do it, yeah.
Now, what you want to do, it's like putting shingles on the roof, right?
I was just going to ask you.
You don't want it to be too far apart.
Too far apart, all right. You don't want too much of a gap in there.
Right, you want it to be nice and lush.
Okay.
So you do this before.
You know what? We have. I remember we've done this before.
Yeah,
I think I ducked you all a couple of days in the shack, though, because, boy, this was rough.
Yeah, well,
clearly I've learned nothing.
But you was on Bay Street, though.
I was on Bay. I made it onto Bay. Thanks to you for finishing my costume.
So we good, right? So that's basically what it is. And then, like I said, the design team will have a concept on here. It could be triangles, it could be circles, it could be whatever. You just fill in the spaces to give you the color code. Or if it's your own personal costume, you're a free dancer, you just put your own.
So how long does this process usually take? Or does it depend on how big the costume or pieces that you're pasting?
It depends on the size of the costume. It depends on the intricacy within the design, right? If you have a lot of shapes and lines, you need all day.
Yeah,
right?
you got to get that precise.
Right, but if you paste in like a big portion of a lead costume, you may have, if your theme is like Egypt or Greece, you may have a column going up for the Parthenon. So if you just paste in the column, that's just straight, you call it straight pasting. Right? All you're doing is just laying the paper. So it depends on how difficult the design is, and it depends on how fast the person pasting is. Right? And how much time, of course, you're willing to dedicate to it.
And I know you've been in Junkanoo for so long. What does Junkanoo mean to you personally?
Junkanoo, well, what Junkanoo is meant to me personally is my personal expression to really show what you can't show on a regular basis. You know, you could jump up in the road and not crazy because music going on and everybody feeling good. You know, it's like a natural.
But you're going through something, you're just letting that out.
Them spirits is hitching, it's like, you know what, that's all have fun together. You know, so it's just, I like the cultural expression aspect of it. And you get to be free. I mean, being free basically is free slaves on their free day. Well, slaves on their free day to express themselves. So that's just what we're doing, just honoring our ancestors.
Yes, awesome.
Basically.
I love it. Now you see I put some color in there.
You good, man.
I was missing some color just now, so I added my little purple strip in there.
There you go. Now every now and again you could just dip the tip of the brush into the glue and just reapply a little bit of residue on it.
Okay. So Robert, we can see you on Bay this year? Taking a break? Taking a break, all right. Take some rest. All right, thank you so much. This has been amazing. I've learned a lot, and I can see my little design coming together here. It's looking real fringy and pretty. I think I could go on Bay. You think I'm ready for Bay?
So. You just put in a little bit more time, you should be there.
A little bit more time. All right, thank you so much. It's incredible to see the patience, the precision, and the passion behind every single piece. Well, this Thursday, BTC is launching its holiday kickoff event, and What's Trending is giving 5 lucky viewers and a guest the chance to attend. To win, you must be a loyal BTC customer, either postpaid or prepaid, and be one of the first 5 people to text 422-6827. Get ready for an unforgettable evening with live band performances, delicious food, and amazing prizes, including a $500 Visa gift card or a Samsung Flip premium device. Well, don't miss out on your chance to enjoy the vibe of Christmas. Coming up next, we're tracking the latest and juiciest news from all around the world in Trend Tracker. Stay with us.
If you would like to be a part of What's Trending, DM us on Instagram at What's Trending on ZNS.
Diet-friendly special.
Honey barbecue, sweet and spicy, all new. Signature hot wings. What's your flavor?
Roasted garlic parmesan, tastes so good, chicken. Those pepper wings.
Now available at Popeyes in Nassau.
It's time for Trend Tracker, where we talk about what's making headlines, from local stories shaping our communities to global news capturing the world's attention. The BBC is feeling the heat. U.S. President Donald Trump is threatening to sue the British broadcaster for a cool $1 billion. Yes, billion with a B, after accusing them of misleading editing in a documentary about him. The BBC's Panorama reportedly spliced together parts of Trump's infamous January 6th speech, according to his lawyers, making it sound as if though he told supporters to fight like hell, but without balancing the report by broadcasting when he did say to protest peacefully. Cue the chaos. The BBC's Director General and Head of News both resigned amid backlash and claims of political bias. The chairman called it a serious error of judgment, and Trump, he's already celebrating the resignations on Truth Social, calling the journalists corrupt and dishonest. Let's just say the BBC's editing room is looking a lot quieter this week. And talk about a quick exit. Former French President Nicolas Sarkozy has been released from prison after just 20 days of his 5-year sentence for campaign finance shenanigans. The 70-year-old politician, who denies any wrongdoing, walked out of the French prison and straight home to Paris, but with a few strings attached. He can't leave France or talk to co-defendants and key witnesses. Sarkozy says he's all about proving his innocence, calling his stint behind bars a nightmare, and giving a shout out to prison staff for helping him survive. Meanwhile, the appeals trial is coming and the drama is far from over. In short, short prison stay, long saga. Stay tuned, because in politics, the plot twists never end. And coffee lovers, brace yourself. The Starbucks Barista Cold Cup Frenzy is back. After last week's launch left fans waiting in lines for hours, with some going home empty-handed, Starbucks is teasing more holiday merch, including a collab with loungewear brand Roller Rabbit, dropping December 2nd. The $30 bear-shaped glass cup caused chaos online. Some TikTok users lined up before dawn, only to watch employees scoop them up first. Even though stores brought in more cups, they sold out like hotcakes. And yes, the resale market is insane. Prices from $45, and get this, all the way up to $89,000. Hopefully this year the Bahamas gets a taste of the hype, because nothing says holiday cheer like a bear cup and a caffeine fix. And let's talk about turbulence. More than 9,000 flights across the U.S. have been grounded after the FAA ordered major flight cuts, all thanks to short-staffed control towers during this government shutdown. Even though Washington looks ready to reopen, the skies are still a mess. The FAA says those flight restrictions won't lift until it's confident safety and staffing are back on course. Major hubs like Atlanta, Chicago, and New York are taking the brunt, meaning delayed flights, stranded passengers, and major losses for airlines. Here at home, thankfully, Bahamas Air flights are still flying steady, but with all this U.S. airspace drama, travelers connecting through the states might want to double-check those itineraries, because right now, the only thing taking off smoothly is a traveler's frustration. Well, that's your Trend Tracker for today, where what's hot, what's wild, and what's next all collide. Stay tuned. There's more What's Trending after the break.
What's trending in business? Who's making major money moves, and how's it shaping your future? This is Economics, your front row seat to the biggest stories in business, innovation, and finance. Powered by the Sand Dollar, the digital currency of the Central Bank of the Bahamas. It's fast, secure, Bahamian. We're breaking down the numbers, the news, and what it means to you. Tune in every Thursday at 6 p.m. for the trends, the insights, and the stories that matter. Get informed, get inspired, get in the mix with Economics.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online. both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian tanks, and if you got tanks to sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
On Wednesday's show, we're checking in with a Bahamian making waves abroad, the creator behind Wife Her, an empowering movement that's all about inspiring women to know their worth and walk boldly in their purpose. And that's a wrap on your Tuesday What's Trending. Follow us on Instagram at What's Trending on ZNS for show clips and behind-the-scenes moments. But before we go, we'd like to wish our loyal viewer all the way in Grand Bahama, Simone Henfield, a very happy birthday. We hope you enjoyed your day. I'm Ayanthea. See you right back here tomorrow at 6 p.m.
At Centerville, I'm LaDawn Davis. This is ZNS.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. A stabbing at a local school leaves 2 teens injured. Also, the Parliamentary Registration Department addresses concerns over the National Voters Registration. And vehicular fraud uncovered as a woman was notified by Customs about a car purchased in her name. It's a story you will see on just one station.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
Police responded, and upon arrival, they received information that there was a large fight on that premises, and while they would have located 2 victims who were being transported to the hospital to seek medical attention.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Shalia Roll. Thanks so much for tuning in. Topping the news tonight, a violent altercation at Johntown Academy this afternoon has left 2 students hospitalized and police actively searching for those responsible. Authorities confirm that a full investigation is now underway. Our Jolanda Thompson-Evers was working the story all day and is live at the scene with the latest. Jolanda.
Well, Shalia, it was a scary scene here at Johntown Academy. Just after 1 o'clock p.m., 2 male students stabbed following an altercation here on school campus. While school officials remain tight-lipped on the altercation, police officials say the search is on for the suspects. One student was stabbed in the head, the other in the mouth. Both were taken to the Ryan Memorial Hospital for treatment. Police liaison officer Superintendent Stephen Roll telling ZNS News that the investigation is ongoing as officers work to determine what led to the incident.
The police in Grand Bahama receives a report of a stabbing incident that occurred at one of the private institutions on the Vengeance Way area. The police responded, and upon arrival, they received information that there was a large fight on that premises. And while they would have located 2 victims who were being transported to the hospital to seek medical attention. I can say at this time, one of the males sustained injuries to the head and the other to the mouth.
Superintendent Rule says the stabbing incident may be connected to an earlier event at another institution. He says that their focus is on 2 suspects who remain at large. However, 1 additional person is in custody assisting with this investigation.
The young male in custody at this time, he is known to the police, and he'll be questioned as to any involvement that he may have had in this incident. Like I said, there are still 2 suspect outstanding. So a male was arrested in regards to his mouth for questioning only. And once they complete with the investigation, if he's not connected, then he'll be released from custody.
When asked about the motive behind the stabbing, he stated that the reason is still under investigation.
We're not privy to this information. We acted when we got the call, and you do our level best that it don't reoccur to any other institution or anywhere else on Grand Bahama.
Now, Shalia, we were here at the scene of this incident from around 2 o'clock p.m., speaking with parents who are demanding answers as to how something like this could happen. Meantime, police officials have confirmed that the suspects are 16. However, it is still unclear if they are students here at the school. Nonetheless, they are assuring parents that they are moving swiftly to bring this matter to a close. Live from Explorers Way for the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson, Everest.
Thanks, Jolanda. Vape possessions among students have exploded in popularity. Now, 2 secondary school principals are sounding the alarm. Our Matthew Martinborough shares more in this report.
With some shaped as small as pens and even pocket-friendly to as large as battery packs, vape possession among minors as young as even 10 years old has become a rising issue within school campuses.
The vape, to me, is like alcohol for minors. You know, it's nothing that they should be dealing with right now.
Some of the young people are really already addicted to the vaping, whether they've been doing it for a month, a year, they've been doing it for just a summer, whatever it is, but it is addictive.
Speaking there are principals at both Jackiewood Junior and Senior High, Janice Pinder and Melissa Cooper, who are once again sounding the alarm, stepping up efforts to raise awareness through a series of informative seminars and engaging both parents and students.
We normally have seminars for the students, and we would have, the officers come in to speak to them about the dangers of drug use and so forth, and we consider that like drug use.
I had a parent who said that every time they throw it away, I deal with the child and punish them. When they look, the child have another one.
The school officials are casting the blame to unregulated home-based vape sellers and nearby adults for failing to protect the youth from the harmful exposure.
Who could they be purchasing it for? Must be the adults. So, it's a serious matter. And I think that the parents, the adults out there need to be mindful of who they're selling the vapes to.
They just want to make the money. And so it doesn't matter to them that this underage child is coming to buy this vape. They just know that they want to make a few bucks, and that's what we're seeing.
Now, the message extended from the school's principals is for the parents. Please be more vigilant and aware of what your child consumes and possesses. It will assist in the effort to ensure a safer environment for a healthier child. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Matthew Martinborough.
Well, questions are being raised tonight about the integrity of the National Voter Registration. The Parliamentary Registration Department is addressing claims that some non-Bahamians may have been added to the list. Our Raven Davis has more on the department's response and what they're doing to ensure the process remains secure.
The Parliamentary Registration Department is pushing back against claims that non-Bahamians are being added to the National Voter Register. Officials insist that strict checks are in place, even as they admit uncovering fraudulent documents in recent weeks.
We had 1 or 2 persons, even last week. Somebody with a driver's license, when we checked, we had to make some adjustments because they got it somewhat fraudulently. So we're checking every day. Not because you present a passport means that you automatically, get registered. If we sense some challenges, we will do our due diligence.
Parliamentary Commissioner Harrison Thompson says his office follows both the Constitution and the Parliamentary Registration Act when verifying eligibility. His comments come amid renewed public debate over whether non-citizens, including individuals holding dual nationality, are appearing on the register without renouncing their foreign status as required by law.
Once the law allows for you to register, we register. If there are some challenges, we do our due diligence. If you come in and you have a passport and we have some challenges with that, we will do the due diligence and check to see whether you really deserve that passport.
Meantime, Thompson also adds that a comprehensive cleanup of the National Voter Register is ongoing, part of efforts to ensure a fair and credible electoral process.
We have removed over 16,000 since 2017. register. You know, from 2017, it was a continuous register. So from that time, once you're on the register, you're on the register for life. Okay, and we'll explain later on that the biometric cards will be for 10 years, but the register is continuous.
The issue of transparency also resurfaced after opposition leader Michael Pintard called for the full register to be made public, a move Thompson noted is not standard practice, though he said his department aims to be as open as possible.
The list is printed. They can have a look at it whenever they wish. I have a copy in my office. They can have a look at it.
With the by-election in the nation's capital set for November 24, the department says it remains focused on ensuring that only eligible Bahamians are included on the voters list ahead of any upcoming vote. The next general election is not constitutionally due until 2026, though speculation persists about the possibility of an early poll. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
Just one station.
A case of vehicular import fraud now comes to light after a woman received a call to confirm the purchase and collection of a car. However, that same woman says she has no knowledge of a car being purchased, especially ones that in her name. It's a story that you will see on Just One Station with our Matthew Martinborough.
Imagine in the midst of your usual day-to-day, you receive a phone call from the Customs Department asking for your signature for an imported vehicle that you do not have any knowledge of purchasing. That imagination became a living reality for Olive Henfield.
When I saw all the information that was, given out there, I felt violated. So that's why I'm here to put a stop to it at large, publicly.
Adding more to the issue, all of her personal documentation, from her driver's license to her voters and National Insurance Board cards, were already on file in connection to the import, leaving her speechless as to how this was possible.
I really can't say because I just have anyone that has access to my private documents or anything like that. I live in my home by myself, okay, and all my documents are stashed away.
One of the more prevalent pieces of evidence is the Customs Department tax exemption forms with her name and signature. However, Henfield assures she has never even applied for the forms or even inquired about a car, as she already has one.
Because I knew deep down that I didn't order a car. I did not. My car, yes, it's not in running condition at this time, but I did not order a car. I didn't purchase a car.
Now, as it stands, Henfield says she is scared as she doesn't know how far her personal information can be escalated to, and she urges the public to ensure due diligence and protection of their personal information. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Matthew Martinborough.
Thanks, Matthew. In news from the crime beat, in separate bulletins released by the Royal Bahamas Police Force, officers are seeking the public's assistance in locating several men wanted for various matters. Sherelle Dames has more in this report.
Beginning with a positive update from the crime beat, police have confirmed that 23-year-old Favion Alexander Moss has surrendered to Grand Bahama Police. Officers needed to question the resident of Abaco Drive, Hawksbill, in connection with stealing. Meanwhile, the following wanted bulletins have been issued by the Royal Bahamas Police Force for the following men in Grand Bahama. France Josu, age 46, born April 21st, 1979, of number 122, Apartment B, Coralfish Street, Carvel Beach, Freeport. Josu is wanted for causing damage. The suspect is of dark brown complexion and stands at 6 foot 2 inches tall with medium build. Also wanted by police, Eltronico Glenroy Green, age 29, born November 9th, 1966. Green resides at number 1, apartment number 5, Nansen Avenue, and number 90, Gordon Avenue, Freeport, Grand Bahama. Police describe Green as slim build with dark brown complexion and stands at 5 foot 6 inches tall. Both men are currently still at large. Police advises the public to approach with caution as both suspects are considered dangerous. To report findings on these wanted suspects, contact Central Police Station at 350-3138 or 350-3106 or dial 911. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Sherelle Dames.
still to come.
Residents bundling up as cold front sweeps through the islands. The latest on the weather system when we come back.
Imagine a world where every brand knows your name and every store awaits your arrival. Elite shopping, travel where luxury is a lifestyle and every journey feels like home. Dine where every flavor is just for you, every table reserved, and every moment a taste of perfection. Make every big moment even bigger. Experience banking where wealth isn't just managed, it's maximized. Step into a world without limits. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Come on down and see what Dolly Madison has in store for you. Renovate and rejuvenate at Dolly Madison.
Edinburgh Napier University, the #1 modern university in Scotland, is now recruiting for their January 2026 intake and is holding a free information session at the British Colonial Hotel on November 18th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Edinburgh Napier's programs, which include the AACSB accredited and NACOB recognized MBA and BA business top-ups for holders of associate degrees, are 100% online, 100% relevant, and 100% flexible, and can be completed in a minimum of 1 year. Reserve a place now at seidegrees.com. That's www.seidegrees.com.
Save more drugs, from cosmetics to prosthetics. What you need for your family, the brands you're looking for, the quality you expect, vitamins you need, and prescriptions you came for. Feel the love. Save more at Save More Drugs.
Strength isn't claimed, it's built. At Heroic Concrete, every block is made with purpose. Crafted to protect, poured to endure. From ready-mix to premium 8-inch blocks, we supply the strength our nation needs. Proudly made in Grand Bahama, built for hurricanes, built for legacy. Creating products to bring value to our lives and strength to our future. Call 820-4376 or email sales@heroicgrouplimited.com.
Hope.
She is not going to make it.
Tell me, what was it that you were hearing? What was it that you heard? I was hearing like she flatlined. Faith.
You're trying to hear good job or well done. And I think once we get to the place where our desires to hear well done over good job,
right,
we'll continue to flow.
Resilience.
My peace was forgiveness. I've forgiven them, and God gave me a second chance at life.
From heart-wrenching trials to inspiring triumphs. Join me, Sherelle Dames, every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. right here on the ZNS Network as we share the stories of everyday Bahamians who defy the odds.
Your #1 team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back. Cold air sweeping through the northern Bahamas as the temperatures drop and residents bundle up. Senior Met Officer Trenard Tynes explains that gusty winds are part of a strong cold front in the area.
Grand Bahama, of course, or the northern Bahamas, of course, would be experiencing the face strong and breezy conditions first. And then it'll be the northwest Bahamas that experience. I started to feel the winds and pick up for them last night. And then the central Bahamas would be first thing this morning, and then the front is so strong it's anticipated to go all the way down and into the southeast Bahamas.
Tynes say the cool, brisk air is being pushed in from the northern part of the United States and is part of a larger system pulling colder temperatures over the island. Now the question is, just how long can we expect to have this cold weather?
So we're anticipating, we're expecting for these cool temperatures to hold again going into Friday, and then we may feel a gradual warming up session. And I say gradual, probably a little warmer going into the weekend. And we may see another frontal boundary move into the forecast area sometime really by the next week.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm enjoying this cold weather. In other news, shiny trophies and vibrant smiles lit up the Ministry for Grand Bahama's office on Monday morning as Grand Bahama's outstanding youth awardees paid a courtesy call on the ministry. These exceptional young people went on to compete in the National Youth Awards in New Providence, where several of them doubled their wins. Out of 18 categories, Grand Bahama proudly secured victories in 12, including one awardee who received the prestigious Director's Cup. Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, expressed immense pride in the accomplishments of the island's youth and reaffirmed the government's commitment to continuing its strong support for youth development and empowerment.
I want you to know that we will continue to support your efforts and to give the support to youth that they need on the island. And for you to continue to excel, because you are the future.
We are so excited about what's happening in Grand Bahama with our young people. We are so excited to be able to display them and all the work that they're doing, and to let the country know that, of course, the country is in good hands with our young people.
The awardees shared that their achievements were the result of dedication, hard work, and perseverance, and they expressed heartfelt gratitude for the recognition of their efforts.
I realized after this year and winning this cup that my efforts aren't going unnoticed, and that you should always keep pushing no matter who is watching.
My whole life I've worked really hard to help protect our oceans here in the Bahamas. So I want to take this opportunity to thank the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture for showcasing all of the wonderful talent.
One of my pieces called March 21st, being a personal representation of my medical journey throughout the years and how I felt lost inside that moment. And I'm just thankful to God who took me through it all and allowed me to actually be recognized for it all.
And I would just like to say thank you to the Youth, Sports and Culture Award for letting me win this award.
Instead of celebrating with balloons and birthday cake, 6-year-old Ciara McPhee chose to spend her special day giving back to her community. She says the idea came straight from her heart. She simply wanted to make others feel happy on her birthday. In downtown Freeport near Untangled Hair Studios, the square was filled with balloons, love, and a spirit of togetherness. For little Ciara, the greatest gift was seeing the smiles of the people she served, offering plates of peas and rice, baked pork chops, coleslaw, and a warm bowl of bread, and a cold drink.
If I didn't have nothing, I would have want somebody to help me, because food is a necessity and we need it to survive.
Ciara's bright smile and warm hearts greeted everyone as they receive a plate of food for her mother, Georgette Duncombe, and her grand aunt, Sandra Donnie. Her act of kindness came as no surprise. They described Ciara as a little girl with a big personality and an even bigger heart.
She's 6 today. I asked her why she wanted to give back to the needy, and she told me she wanted to give back because if she was in need, she would have wanted someone to help her.
And her mom, she said she wants to feed the homeless and people who are hungry. I said, why do you want to do that? So she said she wants to do it because she wants somebody to do it for her. I said, that's strange. I think because most kids want big party, balloons, and party. But she's not the average child. Yeah, she's just different.
Happy birthday, Ciara. That's a look at stories making news. Jay, what's happening in sports?
It was a hot game last night between Sunland and St. George's in the Tip-Off Classic. We'll have all those highlights coming ahead in sports.
Thanks, Jay. Comes your way next. But first, here's a local check on the weather forecast.
Tonight's weather forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
'Cause it's so beautiful.
Do you want to find relief from common health concerns such as headaches, back pain, chronic inflammation, and more? How about improved sleep, boost energy, and improve overall well-being? Check out RA Balance Bahamas and get your body into balance with biomagnetic therapy. For all our social links, contacts, or to request an appointment, visit rabalancebahamas.com.
At Save More Drugs, we got you. We got what you want. We got what you need. We got what you came for. The quality you expect. The prices you need and deserve. Save more at Save More Drugs.
Hey, what are you doing?
I'm self-insuring my investments, starting with this tarp.
We all remember the blue tarps after the storm. Let's make sure that we are covered with more than a tarp. Don't allow your investment to be at risk. Protect your investment with one of our insurance policies.
Nobody does it better.
Good evening, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to Sports Top in Sports. The two top high school basketball teams on Grand Bahama faced off last night with standing room only in the gym. The five-time defending champion Sunland Stingers went up against St. George's High with the title on the line. Here's Matthew Martinborough, who's courtside.
After a long week of basketball, the IL Cares Tip-Off Classic has finally come to a close here at the St. George's Gymnasium, with the Jaguars taking away the W in the championship game, 58-45, to defend their home court.
Claiming the tournament MVP is St. George's High's Makai Nesbitt, and the defensive player in the tourney is Shanti Curry. Here's Curry on how he felt following the win.
It was a good win. We've been waking hard for it, 5 a.m. practices every day. We really deserve it. I'm really proud, but guys, stay humble and keep pushing to the next tournament.
Jaguars head coach Daryl says he did not expect the championship win to come easy against the five-time reigning tournament champions, the Sunland Baptist Academy Stingers.
We expected Sunland to play as a champion because they're defending champion. To win 5 in this tournament in a row, that's a feat in itself. But we knew that we could control the inside better and force the guys to be able to be accountable. We would have a better chance at doing what we did.
For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Matthew Martinborough.
Next in sports, soccer action kicked off on Monday with the Grand Bahama Games. In the opening match, Marco City took down West Grand Bahama 7-0, led by Sierra Saunders, who scored all 7 goals.
It was a really good game. We were able to work cohesively. We had really great communication, and we were able to do a really great job, and we were able to show that portraying our score 7-0.
Now in the other women's game, Central Grand Bahama got the win against Pine Ridge 4-0. Now on the men's side, Marco City defeated West Grand Bahama 1-0, while Central Grand Bahama took down Pine Ridge.
We have some young kids out here, some that are very, very talented soccer players, and it's not as boring as you think. It's kind of fun to watch. So we're looking forward to a good, fun week, 2 weeks of soccer.
And last in sports scores from opening day of Night League basketball, Cornet Shipping won against the Gym Rats 57-56. In Game 2, Celebration Key dominated Little Boat 53-35. And the feature game had the defending champions Dudley Boys getting by Pizza Hut 70-59. And that's a quick check on sports. Your Facebook friend of the day is next. I'm Jay Philippe. As always, be blessed.
The Pro Cathedral of Christ the King presents Mission 2025 Get in Line, November 18th and 19th at 6:30 p.m. at the Foster B. Pestana Center. Hear inspiring messages from Reverend Father Rondina Roll and Reverend Father Welcott Bain. Don't miss the spiritual renewal.
Grand Bahama, get ready. This is yours truly, Pastor Laquez Williams, inviting you to a live concert at Jubilee Cathedral this November 16th at 6 p.m. Live in concert with Peter Key, How I Cross Over, and Bishop Simeon Outen, and many others. You don't want to miss it. We will also have special appearance by Sunland Baptist Academy students. Part proceeds goes to Sunland Baptist Academy renovation. You don't want to miss this amazing concert.
Save more drugs. We got you. From cosmetics to prosthetics, what you need for your family, the brands you're looking for, the quality you expect, the prices you need and deserve. Feel the love. Save more at Save More Drugs.
Hope. A special shout out to Dory Kemp. Jay, she watches us every night. We appreciate your support. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. I'm Shalia Roll.
And I'm Jay Philippe.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Here's a live look at the Bahamas tonight, coming your way next.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the national report. 2 Grand Bahama students sustained serious injuries from a stabbing incident. Here the police's initial details. Plus, the election reform discussion has resurfaced. Here tonight, who is speaking about it. And Golden Isles business owners hoping to spend some valuable time with their next member of parliament. The Bahamas tonight, the national report starts now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. We begin tonight from Grand Bahama as police there are probing a stabbing incident involving 2 school students that took place earlier this afternoon. Jolanda Thompson-Everest of our Northern Service joins us live in Freeport with the latest details. Good evening, Jolanda.
Well, Dawn, it was a scary scene here in Freeport. Just after 1:00 p.m., 2 male students stabbed following an altercation here on school campus. While school officials remain tight-lipped on the altercation, police officials say the search is on for the suspects.
One student was stabbed in the head, the other in the mouth. Both were taken to the Rand Memorial Hospital for treatment. Police Liaison Officer Superintendent Stephen Roll telling ZNS News that the investigation is ongoing as officers work to determine what led to the incident.
The police in Grand Bahama receives a report of a stabbing incident that occurred at one of the private institution on the Branches Way area. The police responded, and upon arrival, they received information that there was a large fight on that premises. And while they would have located 2 victims who were being transported to the hospital to seek medical attention. I can say at this time, one of the males sustained injuries to the head and the other to the mouth.
Superintendent Rule says the stabbing incident may be connected to an earlier event at another institution. He says that their focus is on 2 suspects who remain at large. However, 1 additional person is in custody assisting with this investigation.
The young male in custody at this time, he is known to the police, and he'll be questioned as to any involvement that he may have had in this incident. Like I said, there are still 2 suspect outstanding. So a male was arrested in regards to his mouth for questioning only. And once they complete with the investigation, if he's not connected, then he'll be released from custody.
When asked about the motive behind the stabbing, he stated that the reason is still under investigation.
We're not privy to this information. We acted when we got the call, and we'll do our best that it don't reoccur to any other institution or anywhere else on Grand Bahama.
Now, LaDawn, we were here at the scene of this incident from around 2 o'clock p.m., just speaking with parents who are demanding answers on how something like this could happen. Meantime, police officials have confirmed that the suspects are 16. However, they are still unclear if they are students here at the school. Nonetheless, they are assuring parents that they are working swiftly to bring this matter to a close. Live from Freeport, Explorers Way for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Jolanda Thompson, Everest.
Thanks a lot, Yolanda. Well, as the election season approaches, the conversation around electoral reform is once again in the spotlight. While government has made some strides toward modernizing the system, questions remain about the pace of change and the public trust in the process. Here's Leah Cooper.
With the Golden Isles constituency by-election 2 weeks away, promised electoral reforms by several administrations remain unfulfilled. Measures such as term limits, campaign finance reform, and anti-corruption laws have been implemented, while some remain unaddressed. But Executive Chairman of the Organization for Responsible Governance, Matt Aubrey, notes while some things remain unaddressed, some progress is being made.
The change that we just saw in the passing of the Data Protection Act by the House, as well as some of the data privacy components and the parliamentary services change, those have all led up to showing some bits of reform of the electoral system here in the Bahamas.
Several months ago, government passed changes to the Parliamentary Registration Act, setting the stage for the Data Protection Act, which paves the way for a modernized biometric voting system. Aubrey says this is a step in the right direction, but expresses concern for the card's phased rollout.
When we're so close to an election, it creates a lot of gaps in knowledge and understanding of what that means. There's going to be concern about a new document that folks will be utilizing, what the implications of that, and what the recommendations in research are is to take time.
He adds that his organization has often spoke on the importance of building public trust and transparency in the system.
But more importantly, we think one of the things that is really crucial is having transparency around who is supporting the campaigns, so that folks would understand who are the campaigns and the parties representing across the board. It creates a level of transparency that then results in more trust in a system that facilitates people believing they want to participate in something more.
The last general election saw the lowest voter turnout seen in modern history, with just 65% showing up at the polls. That's a 20% decrease compared to the previous election. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Leah Cooper.
The Bahamas Constitution Party is renewing its call for comprehensive electoral reform and the creation of an independent electoral commission. In a statement, Chief Servant Leader Ali McIntosh reaffirmed the party's long-standing advocacy for fairer elections, campaign finance transparency, and equal access to national media for all political movements. The party says it was its 2012 invitation that first brought international election observers from the Commonwealth, OAS, and CARICOM to the Bahamas, a practice that has continued in every election since. The BCP notes that observer reports have repeatedly echoed its call for electoral modernization and stronger democratic safeguards. McIntosh says the party will continue pressing for reforms that strengthen public confidence and level the playing field for smaller political organizations. With less than 2 weeks to go before nearly 8,000 residents in the Golden Isles constituency cast their votes in the upcoming by-election, candidates in the race are making their final pitches to voters. On last night's The Rundown with Clint Watson, two of those candidates, independent Karen Kim Butler and the Coalition of Independents Brian Roll, both urged voters to look away from the Progressive Liberal Party and the Free National Movement. Butler says even though it is only one constituency, Golden Isles is a microcosm of the nation's mood, and that mood, she says, is for change.
Because we've been lacking and losing what is fundamental to our heritage and to our culture and to what it is to actually be a Bahamian. So working in Golden Isles would affect the entire country, and I tell people every day, not because you don't live in Golden Isles means you're immune from any of the trials and tribulations that we as residents in Golden Isles experience.
COI candidate Brian Roll blasted the Progressive Liberal Party and the Free National Movement for what he calls failing to address serious national issues.
And personally for me, I think that food sustainability should have been one of our number one priorities. We need to feed ourselves. We have 700 islands and keys. Why aren't we taking that more seriously than tourism? We could feed other nations. We have the potential to do it. This is not a game, and we need to stop, taking this for a joke with those two parties, the POP and FNF, because obviously they are not interested in things like that.
Golden Isles business owners patiently waiting to meet their next member of parliament in about 2 weeks. Manager of the Southwest Diner, Lavandra Colbert, believes some serious attention must be placed on infrastructural upgrades in the constituency.
I would have seen the drainage for the outside parking lot. It's really flooded at times. I would like that to be fixed, and some of the roads on the Golden Isles area.
And still to come, BPL helps to power up Jamaica. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report.
Step into a life of luxury and convenience with the Commonwealth Bank Platinum Card. From earning premium cashback rewards on every dollar spent to enjoying comprehensive travel insurance, shop with confidence, knowing your purchases are protected. Our Platinum Concierge service turns your requests into reality, wherever life takes you. Let the Commonwealth Bank Platinum Card be your passport to exceptional experiences. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
The new KFC Fill-Up Box, serving 6 juicy pieces of chicken, 4 buttery biscuits, crispy fries to share, and 12 premium original recipe KFC nuggets, all packed into one crave-worthy box. So dig in and do whatever the crunch you want with the KFC Fill-Up Box. Only at KFC, it's finger-licking good.
While others see customers as numbers, we see our customers as people, neighbors, friends who deserve more than one-sided connections. That's why we are redefining what real connection is by prioritizing our customers and showing our appreciation by putting our money where your loyalty is. BTC customers, claim your $200 Bahamas Air gift card when you add postpaid mobile to your internet plan. That's loyalty that flows both ways.
I worked hard every single day, from primary school into secondary school. My name is Darren Pickstock. I started to work at Atlantis as a space cleaner. Nobody could beat me. I took pride in my job. After that, I went to the UK to study law. I'm very proud of my work in the Senate, my advocacy for suicide prevention, my record in empowering young people, and also food security. I'm the chairman of the Bahamas Agricultural and Industrial Corporation. I believe that it is important for us to feed ourselves, so I see that as a national security issue. The government has done a lot, but the reality is there is a lot more to be done. The cost of living is always increasing, and so to be able to bring down the cost of food will assist people in being able to eat properly. Investing in Bahamians is important, extremely important. It is about opening the door. People just want an opportunity. I am very result-driven, and that is what Golden Isles will see me as.
A digital wave is making its mark across the Bahamas. From Grand Bahama to Inagua, Bahamians are embracing smarter ways to pay. The Pay Fast, Live Digital campaign, launched by the Central Bank of the Bahamas and the Clearing Banks Association, is bringing safe, fast, and convenient payment solutions to every island, from online banking to mobile wallets.
We had an incredible turnout, so it gave us an opportunity to have a conversation that they can also be a part of and appreciate.
Remember, people over 60 and around 60, the fear that you talk about, we understand, and we have persons to be able to assist with that.
I learned that digital banking is going to be one of the biggest ways that us as Bahamian kids will benefit in the future.
It has to start somewhere, and this is a good start.
We're empowering communities, one town hall at a time, for families, for businesses, for you. Let's live digital.
Things may be tough, but Wendy's got you covered. Grab a day single or chicken sandwich with a junior fries and 16-ounce beverage for just $6.95. Why choose less from the other guys when you can get more? At Wendy's, we're providing bigger bites and better deals. So purchase your Tings Tough Value Meal today. Now available at all locations, excluding the airport and food truck.
As an athlete, I've learned that success isn't built on extras. It's built on the essentials. Strength, discipline, smart choices. That's why I'm proud to partner with Bahama Health to introduce Essential 300. A comprehensive health insurance plan that's all about covering what truly matters. Essential 300 is Bahama Health's most affordable major medical plan for groups and individuals. It offers access to a specialized network of care with essential benefits like preventative services, because real strength starts with staying healthy. You may not be training for a race, but everyone deserves strong and affordable coverage with Essential 300. With Bahama Health, you can feel good about your health plan and protect what truly matters, your health.
For more information, call 396-1350 or visit www.bahamahealth.com.
You're looking at a drone shot of Long Key opposite Saunders Beach here in New Providence, also known as Rooster Key. This undeveloped land is part of a cluster of small islands near Nassau. That shot courtesy of drone pilot Kyson Miller. Thanks, Kyson. Local medical professionals maintain that value-added tax should not be added on medication because in some cases it's barely affordable without the extra fees. Immediate past president of the Bahamas Pharmaceutical Association, Shantia Heald McBride, is pushing even harder for this plea to be heard as the association acknowledges Bahamas Pharmaceutical Week from November 9th to the 16th.
As you know, before there was 0% VAT on medication, which we all loved economically. Then we moved to different ranges. We have been advocating once again for the 0% on medication just because it would help our economy, our patients who are in need of medication. And during that time, we added chemo drugs for those persons that have cancer. We also added chronic kidney disease medication because those two illnesses are a main concern for patients here just due to the cost of their medications.
In the meantime, though, BPA Education Officer Committee member Mimi Roberts assures that the National Prescription Drug Plan has been a godsend for patients.
They only knew how much they save and how much the government has spent. You know, like one eye drop could be about $50 in private. And so some patients get 2 of those a month, you know? And so that's just one way. And there, I would say about a third of the patients that come in here.
A third of every pharmacy is patient.
Would be prescription drug
the NIB drug plan, which she's alluded to, and we'll be transitioning into the National Health Drug Plan eventually.
The Bahamas and its regional neighbors, Anguilla, Dominica, and Montserrat, have officially joined the Caribbean Regional Fisheries Mechanism, strengthening regional cooperation in the management of marine resources. The agreement was signed during the Caribbean Week of Agriculture in St. Kitts and Nevis. The CRFM promotes responsible fisheries management, anti-corruption, and data protection policies, and encourages youth, gender, and indigenous exclusion in the blue economy. The organization says the new signatories will help deepen regional partnerships for the sustainable use of Caribbean marine resources. A 7-member team from Bahamas Power and Light is on the ground in Jamaica tonight, assisting with the massive recovery efforts underway on that island following the devastation caused by Category 5 Hurricane Melissa. The team is expected to be in Jamaica for about 4 weeks and will help to restore power to the thousands of residents left without electricity after the powerful storm made landfall. The hurricane reportedly left behind $8 billion in damage, destroying towns, roads, hospitals, and critical infrastructure. We spoke to some of the team members at the Lyndon Pindling International Airport before they left for Jamaica on Monday.
A part of Carolette, we are going to assist in restoration for distribution, getting the main facilities in tip-top shape because, you know, they've been devastated by the storm. So power is one of the essential things that is necessary for anybody in any country. So we feel it's an integral part of what we're doing. We're going to be assisting them and giving service from the Bahamas Power and Light.
We're going out to help our brothers, and we're going to do our best and utmost. And usually, like I say, we Lineman is a brotherhood, so we're going to build relations, and we're going to keep an open mind and adjust and work and do our best to the best of the reputation of the corporation.
We're feeling kind of excited in a way. You know, we're going on there, we don't know what to expect. But when we go, we just will do our best and put our best foot forward.
This is my first trip, so I'm a bit nervous, but I have a dependable team who I really can rely on. So to that facet, I'm very confident that we are able to represent the Bahamas to the best of our abilities.
This portion of the news is brought to you by folk called Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
The second annual Energy Summit is coming to the British colonial Nassau on November 20th and 21st. Join the conversation on people, power, and partnerships, and see how the Bahamas is shaping a sustainable energy future. And this year, the spotlight shines on our Youth Energy Zone, where students will share bold ideas, hosted by Vocab Bahamas, with DJ Lil Giant keeping the energy high. Register today at energyandtransportbahamas.com/events.
As a resident of Golden Isles for the past 22 years, I've lived there, served as the chairman for the constituency for the past 11 years. I know the needs, I know the infrastructure needs, I know the needs that the people in Golden Isles need. I drive through there every day. Some of the needs is the healthcare system, the environment. We're looking at it, safety in terms of the police presence being in the constituency on a daily basis. And so I'm excited about it. I'm excited to get Golden Isles up and running and making sure that it's be the best constituency in the Commonwealth of Bahamas. My name is Brian Berkeley Brown from the great constituency of Golden Isles. I'm asking that you lend me a vote so I could work for you.
This message has been brought to you by the Free National Movement.
Honey barbecue, sweet and spicy on noon. Signature hot wings. What's your flavor? Roasted garlic parmesan, tastes so good, chicken. Those pepper wings.
Now available at Popeyes in Nassau.
Find your future with certificate courses from the University of the West Indies. Fast and affordable, our courses give you the skills to get hired, promoted, and ahead of the game. Choose project management, supervisory management, law for human resources, business and commercial law, and even technical skills like Canva design, web design, and computer repair and networking. Register now at global.uwi.edu/Bahamas or WhatsApp 456-6687. The University of the West Indies, Global Campus, the Bahamas.
Blessings gonna find me here.
Join us for the Long Island Business Outlook Thursday, November 20th at the Clarencetown Community Center.
In 2025, we're going to have over 1,200 seats available directly from Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport and into Stella Maris.
We brought in roughly 19,100 passengers to Long Island. That's a combination of both tourists and residents alike.
Register now at tclevents.com.
This portion of the news is brought to you by 700 Wines and Spirits, bringing celebration across the nation.
We wish to correct some misinformation relating to the election of the new Archbishop of the West Indies. It was reported that the Bishop of Belize won over Bishop Leish Boyd, when in fact Bishop Boyd was not on the ballot. Once again, Bishop Boyd voted, but he was not on the ballot. We apologize to Bishop Boyd for this error. Meantime, the Right Reverend Philip Wright of Belize was elected Archbishop of the province of the West Indies here in New Providence yesterday. Well, Royston and Malena joins us live for a sneak peek of Access Now. What's happening, guys?
Well, LaDawn, we've got some pretty exciting guests tonight. We've got some reps from UB who are going to be telling us about that $50,000 Wilson Prize and what you need to know to maybe be the person who gets it. So I'm excited to find out about that one.
I'm very excited about that. I'm also excited to hear Basil's weather report tonight, because if you're feeling a bit cold, the Met Department said the low temperature day was 64 degrees, and I'm wondering if that signals some sweater weather. Yes, you know, we're only 44 days away from Christmas.
I was like, we can turn the music on now. Now it's allowed.
Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report continues right after this.
diet-friendly special?
As a resident of Golden Isles for the past 22 years, I've lived there, served as the chairman for the constituency for the past 11 years. I know the needs, I know the infrastructure needs, I know the needs that the people in Golden Isles need. I drive through there every day. Some of the needs is the healthcare system, the environment. We're looking at safety in terms of the police presence being in the constituency on a daily basis. And so I'm excited about it. I'm excited to get Golden Isles up and running and making sure that it's be the best constituency in the Commonwealth of Bahamas. My name is Brian Berkeley Brown from the great constituency of Golden Isles. I'm asking that you lend me a vote so I could work for you.
This message has been brought to you by the Free National Movement.
Hey, Mom, can you look after Kaylee?
Sorry, I'll be out for a while dealing with my home and car insurance.
What? You know there's a newer way, right?
A new way?
Where have you been? Look, go to newerinsurance.com, log in, get your quote, buy your insurance, done. You can even use it to manage your claim.
Oh? By the way, it's not newer. It's N-U-A. Where's she been?
Do it anyway with NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers.
Is the Little Caesars Stuffed Crust Pizza. Get more pizza for less money. Only $12. It's a whole new level of pizza with cheese stuffed crust so spectacular that there's nothing left.
Pizza.
A delicious pepperoni pizza with the crust stuffed with lots of cheese and brushed with butter and garlic flavor and sprinkled with Parmesan cheese. Hot and ready Thursday to Saturday between 4 and 8 for only $12. Simply irresistible. And only at Little Caesars.
Pizza.
Janae's Chesapeake Road Christmas Wonderland is open under the Big Tent. Get your Christmas trees in pink, frosted, green, or white in a variety of sizes. Musical Christmas LED and laser lights, a large variety of tree ornaments, lighted angels and Santa tree toppers, bright and lively colored Christmas balls in all sizes, garlands, wreaths, tree skirts, stockings, and lots more. Add flowers, picks, and decorative mesh to brighten up your home or office this holiday season. And don't forget the toys at Janae's Chesapeake Road. Check our selections online at www.janaes.com.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
It is time now for your first look at the tropics, and it's brought to you by the Disaster Risk Management Authority. And the tropics again tonight remain extremely quiet, and tropical cyclone development throughout the belt not anticipated over the next 7 days. But there is a nice chill in the air. We'll explain what's causing it later in the newscast, so stay tuned. Ladon?
Thanks a lot, Basil. Before we end, we want to wish our colleague Makush Lapinder a very happy, sweet 16th birthday. Best wishes from the news and TV production departments. Well, that does it for the National Report, but stay close. The Bahamas Tonight continues with Access Now.
Imagine a Bahamas where the lights stay on, bills are less expensive, and our energy is cleaner. Guess what? We may be closer to that future than we think. The country is stepping into a new energy era with LNG, liquefied natural gas, a fuel that is more reliable and better for the environment.
So LNG stands for liquefied natural gas, and it's basically almost like a transitional form of fuel, I should say, that allows us to move towards more renewables being incorporated in our energy mix as it stands right now. One of the benefits of it is, like I'm sure everybody knows, it's more environmentally friendly. You have clean emissions to it. Another aspect of that is it gives us more flexibility and reliability for our electrical grid, as well as allows us to have more energy security based on the fact that you have more options available as opposed to being dependent on one fuel type or one particular supplier.
The process of adding LNG to the mix is set to be implemented first at the New Providence Clifton Pier Power Station.
This initiative will positively and meaningfully foster greater and sustainable economic growth in a way that dramatically increases opportunity for all.
As LNG enters the picture, the Bahamas moves closer to a future powered by innovation, efficiency, and sustainability, lighting the path toward a stronger, brighter nation.
Good to grow, keeping you in the know, keeping you in the know. God, it's good enough to eat, and it's good to grow. It's good enough to eat, that is good to grow.
The Department of Marine Resources now has a new home and address at the Randy Butler Building. As Andres is known as the bedrock for the country's blue economy, Acting Director of Marine Resources Dr. Lester Giddens says it's only fitting that the department increases the island's public access.
This new office is not just a building. It is really and truly a symbol of our commitment to serve the community better, to be more accessible, and to respond more effectively to the needs of our fishers, to enable them to fulfill the role we really need them to fulfill. That is to achieve food security and to help develop the blue economy.
The new office gives the department more facilities to carry out their duties. Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources Jomo Campbell says the new building represents a tangible investment in the blue economy.
This office will serve as a central hub for fisheries management, research and enforcement, ensuring that the vital work of the department is closer to those who depend on it most. For many years, fishermen and marine stakeholders in Andres have asked for greater access to government services and support. And now today, that call has been duly answered. The Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources continues to lead the charge in building a strong and sustainable blue economy. Our vision is clear. We must balance opportunity with responsibility.
The minister added that the new office will support aquaculture initiatives, sustainable practices, and will serve as a center for outreach to fishers, students, and organizations to foster awareness and stewardship. Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Kendia Smith.
Men receiving some much-needed health advice to live healthier lives.
And Dance for Diabetes. We'll tell you what you can do ahead of World Diabetes Day on Friday.
Plus, Freetown youth learning how to steam. We'll explain all the details.
And coming up in sports, get ready for the biggest regatta of the season. It's the best of the best.
Bahamas Tonight Access Now starts now.
Happy Remembrance Day, Bahamas, and good evening. I'm Royston Jones.
And I'm Marlena Leonard. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight Access Now.
We want to take this opportunity at the start of the newscast to thank all the Bahamian heroes who fought for our freedom today.
And if you've noticed, we've been wearing our poppies. These red flowers represent the sacrifice our war heroes made.
And thanks to our national law enforcement officers who too make the sacrifice every day to keep our country safe.
And we also want to take a moment to celebrate some birthdays. A very happy birthday to our Bahamas Tonight anchor Makushla Pinder, and to an avid viewer, JR, who is also celebrating his birthday today.
That's awesome. Happy birthday indeed, and Feliz Cumpleaños. It's time now to dive right into the news. As part of activities commemorating International Men's Month, the Atlantis Men's Empowerment Network recently assembled more than 500 men for a powerful seminar featuring entrepreneur Sebas Bastian and a panel discussion titled Money Talks. The event also saw industry leaders Edison Sumner, Danny Lowe, and Robert Cox of the Mortgage Corporation. Executive Director of People's Communication and Culture, Brandon Major, reminded attendees that the seminar was more than just a one-day event. It was the beginning of a larger movement aimed at empowering men to confront real issues head-on.
I believe this is the start to effectiveness. Everything is a seed that you plant, but there's a lot more work to do. So this is just the start of the seminar. We're going to have breakout sessions where we do breakout sessions, smaller sessions around insurance, smaller session around, relationships, because we have a lot to deal with as men. We deal with relationships with women, we deal with parenting, we deal with career, we deal with money issues, we deal with violence, we deal with all sorts of issues. So I believe that this is just the start.
Now, when it came to entrepreneurship and leadership, keynote speaker Sebas Bastian encouraged building successful teams and managing stress in business.
My always advice is hire slow, fire fast. Surround yourself with good talent. They don't have to be the most educated, they don't have to be the most experienced, they just need to show up, be hardworking, believe in your vision and what you're doing, and then take some of the bandwidth off of you. No one man is an army, and in life, as business owners, you have to focus on two things. The things that you're not good at, you delegate, and the things that you don't like to do, you also delegate. So to handle the stress that comes within business starts with delegation and adding the team incrementally and consistent with what your budget could afford.
In honor of World Diabetes Day this Friday, the Capitol will sway not just to music, but to the heartbeat of hope. The Bahamas Assurance Financial Global Group, in partnership with the Public Hospitals Authority and the Bahamas Diabetes Association, is inviting the nation to dance for diabetes in a celebration of awareness, empowerment, and life itself. Bahamas Diabetes Association President Lindiana Raming assures the event promises to fill the air with music, choreographed routines, and interactive workshops designed to educate, inspire, and remind every participant that health is a journey we take together.
We need more support, we need more funding, and then we have our adults with diabetes. This is the goal of the Bahamas Diabetic Association as we advocate for those. We want persons being diagnosed with diabetes come to us and let's educate them so they can understand. The government is spending a whole lot of money on machines and medication. Persons don't know how to use the machine. They don't know how to eat. They don't know how to take the pills. So education is lacking. We have a whole multidisciplinary team of educators in the Bahamas Diabetic Association. We need funding because we want to educate. That's the key that's lacking. When you're diagnosed, you need to be able to go to the class and learn about your diabetes. What do I need to improve?
The Freetown constituency's future innovators were empowered to upgrade their skills through a STEAM program this past weekend. STEAM, the acronym for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Math, takes place every Saturday at Crypto Isle and for the remainder of the year. The initiative gives students hands-on experience in fields like coding, robotics, and entrepreneurship, all designed to prepare them for the future. Spearheading the event is Free National Movement's candidate for Freetown and entrepreneur, Lincoln Deal.
This generation is a very connected generation. I would say maybe one of the most connected generations of our time. They grew up using tablets and other technologies. And so really and truly, yes, there are going to be new skills and new jobs that they need to learn for tomorrow, but we're meeting them where they are. And so don't be afraid of technology, but embrace it, but also be prepared for it.
A sound message there. And for these young participants, the program isn't just about learning new skills, but about discovering their potential and having fun while doing it.
My experience so far has been great. Dealing with computers is really fun. It's been great. We get to make our own machine and then experience the ones that kids above our age did a long time ago.
It's amazing. It's opening opportunities for young persons like the younger you to give a better technology space, because all of us need technology. It isn't that it's something that we want but need.
It's an excellent and inspiring program. Still to come, we'll learn more about the University of the Bahamas' Wilson Foundation Award. And of course, our Basil Dean is on the other side of the break with the weather report, so stay close.
Bang ding. Bing bang ding. Ding ding dong. Bang bang bang. Ding bang ding. Bing bang ding. Ding ding dong. Bang bang bang. Ding bang ding. Bing bang ding. Ding bang ding. Ding ding dong.
Our company offers a simple philosophy, open hands. What do open hands mean? If you keep your hands closed, nothing comes in, nothing goes out. If you keep your hands open, a lot of things comes in, a lot of things goes out. We cannot expect to be a successful company without blessing our community and blessing our country.
My good friend and valued client, Dominic Stirrup, approached me following a meeting we had and told me of the idea that he had of feeding 10,000 Bahamians on Thanksgiving.
There was a lot of details to put together, had to figure out how to get it done. But at the end, it was worth it. At the end, it gave me a heart of gratitude to know that our company is reaching out to so many persons.
We invite you on a journey to witness an extraordinary chapter in the story of the Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, a tale of compassion, unity, and the true spirit of Thanksgiving.
It's time now for your Access Weather Forecast. 19 days remaining in the tropical cyclone season, and tropical cyclone development simply not expected over the next 7 days. But there is a chill in the air. Cold front went through early this afternoon, now pushing its way through the southeast Bahamas, and that's leaving a cold stream of air behind that, which will see some chilly temperatures over the next couple of days with a warming trend establishing by the weekend. And as we go to our live weather radar, you can see there's some showers and thunderstorms in the extreme southeastern parts of our country, just to the southwest of Inagua, and that is pushing towards the south and east. And your boating forecast tonight through Thursday in the northwestern islands, those winds are going to be northeast. Right now, they're just around 15 to 20 knots, but they will be easing up, becoming 10 to 15 knots during the early morning hours. Wave heights 4 to 7 feet, subsiding 2 to 4 feet by sunrise. High tide, that's going to occur at 1:07 in the morning, but your low tide at 7:14 tomorrow morning. Now for the central and southeastern islands tonight through Thursday, northeast winds at 15 to 20 knots. Those seas are going to remain choppy at 4 to 7 feet, so we have a small craft caution in place, which will continue right through Thursday. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they're brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
They say 1 plus 1 is 2. I say 1 plus 1 is 11. They say we living in a dog world, but I tell them say all good dogs go to heaven. Sweat, blood, and tears, toiling all day. Watch as you.
And that's going to do it for international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But join me at 11 o'clock for a full weather update. Melina?
Thanks, Basil. Well, let's welcome Dr. Leslie Archer, Policy Fellow of the Government and Public Policy Institute at the University of the Bahamas, and Michael Stevenson, Associate Professor and Chair of UB's School of Social Sciences. Welcome to Access Now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, tonight we're going to be talking all about UB's Wilson Foundation Award, which comprises of 2 different programs, I believe, the Wilson Prize and the Wilson Grants. So can you tell us what inspired the partnership between these two to create these awards?
Well, Sir Franklin Wilson and Lady Sharon Wilson, through their generosity, provided funding to establish what's known as the Wilson Family Foundation. And in partnership with the university, this foundation works to incentivize research. And the strategy is two-pronged. The foundation provides funding for research grants, and that funding is done every year for 4 research projects. And it also then has established a prize that is given every 5 years worth $50,000 for completed work.
Okay.
And so the distinction is research that's in progress, which attracts grants, the research grant, and then completed works.
So I guess that makes sense why you've got the 5-year span. You've got to give people time to complete things before they can be able to be eligible for it. Exactly. Now, what kind of research qualifies for that being, integral to national development in the Bahamas?
Well, it's a national development covers a real broad spectrum of possibilities, and the works that we expect from researchers who are interested in receiving a grant or completed works have to be relevant to the Bahamian imagination and a way of helping us understand Bahamian consciousness as well. But that's very broad, and it can encompass so many different things.
And I want to say, as a recipient, that's one of the benefits. A lot of grants are very specific in what exactly they will fund. But when you have the idea and understanding of national development, and so many disciplines can come from it from so many different perspectives, you just have this flood or this pool, and you're creating a movement really for academia in the nation to assert itself and pioneer this country further.
I think there's so many seeds for progress, but you got to be watered by funding. So this is one of those moments. So if someone's watching at home saying, look, I really, really want to see if I can get involved in this, how would someone come to you if they wanted to apply for the grants or for the prize?
Well, for the grants, we usually make about 2 or 3 calls per year. The next call for the next cycle in the grant scheme a call will be made in January of 2026. And we usually send out the call to local NGOs, organizations, people that we know are doing research and may need support. As it relates to the Wilson Prize, the deadline for submission is the end of January 2026. There's an application that has to be submitted before then. That application can be found on the UB website. And basically the eligibility for that particular prize is original scholarship, excellent quality work, substantial research, its capacity to catalyze innovation and research for others. And obviously, its relevance to national development.
But it's not limited to University of the Bahamas scholars.
Okay,
so
great.
If
That's
you
good
are a Bahamian anywhere in the world, I'm not even sure it's limited to Bahamians.
No, it's not.
If you're just doing research connected to national development on the Bahamas, in the Bahamas, related to the Bahamas.
Amazing.
Consider applying for the grant to help you fund your work, and definitely consider applying for the prize.
Now, before we let you go, I do believe you have an event coming up. If someone's watching this at home and they're saying, I really want to learn more about this, and we're going to have to go to sports in a second, they can learn more this week, can't they?
Yes, on Thursday between 10 and 12 noon in the Harry Seymour Library at the university, we will be having 4 presentations by researchers who've received the Wilson Grant, and they will be presenting the work that they've completed based upon the funding that they've received so far. So we're looking forward to it. Some of the topics include the nesting practices of the Bahama parrot in Abaco. One research project is looking at the viability of using the human papilloma virus self-testing as a means of improving cervical cancer screening. We have
big leaps in science.
Right,
sure.
and we have a research paper that's looking at site identification for underwater data centers.
Well, there you go.
And
so Thursday, you said, from 10 to 12,
yes,
10 to noon.
Yes.
So make sure you're there, for sure. Well, Dr. Archer, Mr. Stevenson, best of luck with the awards. I hope anyone who was curious can make their way there on Thursday. We're going to turn things over to ZNS Total Sports now to see what's on tap.
The best of the best regatta set to sail away. Details of that story and more coming up in sports.
Come and visit us at Shop Smart, 'cause everything is here.
Yes, we have it all for you. Toys, clothing, office supplies, appliances, custom cut blinds, bedding, drapes, and rugs. Come and visit us on Mackey Street, 2 blocks down from Wolf Road. Call us at 698-1052.
Shop Smart, Shop Smart, that's Shop Smart. Oh, everything is here.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
Welcome to your Tuesday Sports Check, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports. December is quickly approaching, and with that, the culmination of the annual sailing calendar with the best of the best regatta set to sail away at the Montague foreshore, December 4th through the 7th. Stakeholders yesterday assembling at Montague to officially build up hype for the event and promising that this year will be as big as ever.
Beyond the sails and the races, the best of the best regatta is also a remarkable showcase of Bahamian cuisine, artistry, and entertainment. Attendees can look forward to the finest offerings from our talented artisans and can indulge in the rich flavors of our Bahamian food. And to elevate our experience, we are thrilled to have live performances from some of our top Bahamian artists, making this regatta an unforgettable celebration of our culture.
This promises to be by far the biggest fleet of boats we had in the best, participating in the best of the best, by far. And I must say, too, I am so proud of the work that the various sailing clubs are doing with the young people in our community in sailing. We have Mr. Dallas Knowles, who has a very vibrant sailing program going in the summer. Then we have Cameron Knowles and his supporting cast with a very vibrant sailing club going in Long Island. And now, even more importantly, I don't know if I say more importantly, but we now have Mr. Dwayne Higgins, who has now introduced sloop sailing to the schools in New Providence.
Organizers also announcing that funds were distributed for a very worthy cause as the Department of Local Government presented 2 separate checks of $2,500 to the Cancer Society of the Bahamas, as well as the Sister to Sister Support Group. More from the press conference in tomorrow's Sportscast. Switching gears, over in the north, the Grand Bahama Games continuing to roll on. Action now shifting over to the pitch where soccer takes center stage on their lineup. Our Northern Services Jay Philippe catches us up on opening night.
It's the second week of the Grand Bahama Games, and it's in full swing this time with soccer at the YMCA. In the opening match, ladies play team Marco City took down West Grand Bahama 7-0.
It was a really good game. We were able to work cohesively. We had really great communication, and we were able to do a really great job, and we were able to show that portraying our score 7-0.
Now, in the other women's game, Central Grand Bahama got the win against Pine Ridge 4-0. On the men's side, Marco City defeated West Grand Bahama 1-0, while Central Grand Bahama took down Pine Ridge 3-0. Coach Mary Knowles is the coordinator for soccer for the Grand Bahama Games, and she's excited about the competition.
Friday next week, we'll wrap up with the finals. It's round robin, and then we do third and fourth place will play for the third place, and then first and second for championship. And that'll be not this week Friday, next week Friday, 6 and 7 o'clock.
The Grand Bahama Sports Council continues to play a pivotal role with the execution of the games.
We know that the Bahamas Games is coming up next year, and we definitely will not have an issue of having teams for all of the sports.
The events, pretty much all of the team captains and the athletes and the fans that are coming out tonight. It's kind of cold, it's chilly. We have a cold front coming through, and it's cold tonight, but Persians are still out here supporting. So once again, it's good to see that we have the Grand Bahama Games being returned to Grand Bahama.
Now, soccer action will continue on Wednesday and Thursday with soccer. Reporting from the YMCA at this year's Grand Bahama Games, I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Total Sports.
That's been a look at your sports on this Tuesday. I'm Amajal Knowles, signing out until tomorrow.
What can this mean?
The killer is trying to cover their tracks. Mr. Boniface was attacked last night. Tell me she's not dead. You'll need my assistance. Why is that? In case of clues of a biblical nature.
A false witness shall not be unpunished.
I'll get you for this, Judith Bunyan.
There's a body.
With him dead and me with the money.
You'd be the main suspect. I think we can rule out natural causes.
Sir,
do you recognize this?
Where the blazes did you find that? The police have enough evidence to convict you twice over.
But why, when he was thrown out of the window, are the 3 tools of death? Rope, knife, no.
You absolve sins, I collect debts. That's what I do, mate.
Mr. Royce, I'm arresting you on suspicion of murder.
You're looking at a drone shot of the Bahamas Red Cross headquarters on John F. Kennedy Drive. Built in 1939 as a branch of the British Red Cross, the Society's mission has grown from its initial wartime focus to include disaster response, community support, and health services for the Bahamian people. That shot brought to you by our drone pilot, Kyson Miller. Great job there, Kyson. Speaking of flying, we're off to Exuma. Let's go.
Under the theme, Lest We Forget, government officials, residents, and friends assembled on the island of Exuma this past Sunday for the annual Remembrance Day memorial service at St. Teresa's Roman Catholic Church in Georgetown. 7 World War I and around 30 World War II veterans from Roll, Moss, and Georgetown's, Steventon, Perry, and Rollville communities were honored for their service to the country. Songs, prayers, and scriptures were lifted during this special service. Marlena?
Thanks, Royston. Well, it's time for the segment of the newscast I certainly look forward to, and I bet you do too. It's time to hear from Matea Stewart with Let's Talk Socials.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Talk Socials. Today's feed is filled with nothing but pride and pure Bahamian joy as the newest recruits of the Royal Bahamas Police Force officially marched into service. The ceremony was packed with emotional moments, from proud parents wiping away tears to recruits standing tall in their uniforms, ready to serve the country. One of the sweetest scenes making rounds online was families cheering from the stands, waving flags and shouting out names. Proof that this milestone means just as much to loved ones as it does to the recruits themselves. Enough yapping, take a look. It was a beautiful reminder of dedication, discipline, and community, values that shape the everyday Bahamian life. Hard Eyes Versailles says, "Oh, I'm so proud of him." And Every Rose Has a Thorn said, "Congratulations, wishing you much success. Be a positive example and leave a powerful legacy for others to follow." That's it for now. I'm Matea, and you're watching Let's Talk Socials.
That's such a touching Let's Talk Socials tonight.
So cute, yeah.
That's going to do it for Access Now for tonight. Join us tomorrow night when we'll sit down with two sisters from the Church Summit who continue to perform at the highest level.
And stay tuned for the rundown with Clint Watson and the Political Roundtable. Good night, everybody.
You're probably wondering what I'm doing here sitting in our amazing studio. Well, I'm preparing for my new show coming this fall. In Depth with Mukesh Lapinder is a Sunday magazine style show with timely investigations and deep explorations into the country's ills and triumphs. So join me on Sundays at 10 a.m. this fall for long-form and engaging conversations. And remember, only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
What's trending in business? Who's making major money moves? And how's it shaping your future? This is Economics, your front row seat to the biggest stories in business, innovation, and finance. Powered by the Sand Dollar, the digital currency of the Central Bank of the Bahamas. It's fast, secure, Bahamian. We're breaking down the numbers, the news, and what it means to you. Tune in every Thursday at 6 p.m. for the trends, the insights, and the stories that matter. Get informed, get inspired, get in the mix with Economics.
The Public Hospitals Authority wishes to ensure that you and your family are safe and prepared during the hurricane season. There are a few simple rules to follow that will help you to better manage your health during a storm. Ensure you have a 2-week supply of any medications you are taking. Ensure you have a first aid kit. Ensure you make contact with your healthcare provider to reschedule any appointments or procedures that may have been scheduled ahead of the storm. The public is reminded that ambulance services are only provided to service medical emergencies. The National Emergency Medical Services advises the public that once winds exceed 50 miles per hour, ambulance services are discontinued until the all clear is given.
The DRM Authority 2025 Official Hurricane Shelter List. Abaco Central District, Central Abaco Primary School, Marsh Harbor, Friendship Tabernacle, Dundas Town, Guanakee Primary School, Guanakee, Manawar Primary School, Manawar, Hope Town Primary School, Hope Town, Abaco Northern District, Amy Roberts Primary School, Green Turtle Key, Faith Walk Church of God Community Center, Cooperstown, Grand Key All-Age School, Preschool Block, Grand Key, Abaco Southern District, Crossing Rocks Primary School, Crossing Rocks, Moores Island School, Moores Island, and Soul Seeking Ministries, Moores Island. And that was the list of the 2025 Official Hurricane Shelter List of the DRM Authority.
Battling for Bay is a joke compared to battling colon cancer.
You want to protect your quarterback? You need to protect your body.
The same way we declare that we will be victorious on Bay Street is the same way you will declare that you will be victorious over colon cancer.
Colon cancer is the third most common cancer affecting Bahamians. Both men and women are affected equally. Fortunately, colon cancer can be prevented by scheduling routine visits with your doctor, by being aware of the symptoms, and by having some form of colon cancer screening when appropriate. If you're over the age of 45, talk to your doctor about having a colonoscopy today so that you can avoid a conversation about colon cancer tomorrow.
Hey, y'all, what's up?
Hey, what's that?
What y'all getting?
Listen, I've been waiting to march down some lobster, yeah?
Hi, I'm Matthew. I will be you guys waiter today. Can I take your order?
Oh, I've been jonesing for some grouper dread.
Y'all see this?
See, this ain't gonna work.
Where the fish gone, though?
But how, though?
Don't leave our children with no fish in their future. Protect our sea. Protect our way of life. Protect the Bahamas. To learn how you can help, find us on Facebook at Bahamas Protected. See the future.
At the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, I'm Clint Watson, and this is ZNS. The Rundown is brought to you by Commonwealth Brewery Limited. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the show. It's great to have you with us tonight. Well, it's Tuesday. That means we've got our political roundtable ready to go to discuss the latest political news. And yes, we do have representatives tonight from the PLP and FNL. Yeah. Well, with the Golden Isles constituency by-election 2 weeks ago, the conversation on election reform is once again making the spotlight. But is the Bahamas ready for full election reform, like term limits, campaign finance reform, or anti-corruption laws? Going to hear from our panel tonight. Kyle Dean of the Progressive Liberal Party, Free National Movement Vice Chairman, Denary Rowe, their boy, all in the house tonight. Dr. Veronica McIver, the Deputy Leader of the Coalition of Independents and Chief Servant Leader of the Bahamas Constitution Party, S. Ali McIntosh. Ladies and gentlemen, good to have you. Good to be here. Good to have you all here tonight. So let's start right there, because we're going to talk a bit about the by-election. But before we get into that, let's talk about election reform. Should the Bahamas, at this point, have some level of new reforms in place, like campaign finance reform, where people identify the major donors and who they are to ensure that there's no, when you're in government, no kind of what we call payback for the money you've given to declare. Anti-corruption laws, term limits. What say you? Let's begin with campaign finance reform, and then we'll go to term limits and anti-corruption. What is your position on campaign finance reform, particularly with donors?
I always start, but the reason why I want to start first is because you didn't bring it up, but I'm going to bring it up. Yesterday on your show, on the political panel, the 4 candidates for Golden Isles were supposed to present themselves.
Yes.
2 of the mainstream parties did not show up. And it was clear to me after watching that show that Brian T. Rowe, he was courageous, he was confident, and the people respect the fact that he showed up and told them exactly what he wanted to do. It's obvious to me that there is a fear of accountability for the other 2 party candidates. We know a couple weeks ago that the PLP candidate put his foot in his mouth. And so I believe that the 2 of them did not show up because they wanted to have a control narrative. That is what I believe. And it really showed them up that they were very fearful, and they wanted something to be scripted. They were afraid that if they came on and it was unscripted, they could have put their feet in their mouth again. And the PLP had to do a lot of cleaning up, and they probably didn't want to mop up again. So they probably said, you know what, don't come to that show. But that is my belief, and I thought it was in poor taste that they did not show up yesterday. It reminds me of an attorney. A good attorney sometimes will keep their client by their side and do not let them take the witness stand, because they feel as if their defendant or their client is a poor witness, and they feel they can win the case on their argument and merits. That is what I saw yesterday. The PLP and the FNM did not want their client to sit in the witness stand and answer to the Bahamian people in a debate with all of them. And the reason why they didn't want to do it is because they couldn't answer the tough questions. You know what the two tough questions they couldn't answer? If we had gone with illegal migration in Golden Isles, both PLP and FNM have a poor record of handling illegal migration in the Bahamas. And when I think of the coal mining, Golden Isles, one of their major concerns was smoke. Whether it's coming from the dump or the coal mining. The PLP and the FNM never took care of the coal mining. You know who was in the forefront of the coal mining? Mr. Lincoln Bain and the COI. And you know how I know? I know because I put on my tennis one day and I went through the bush.
Was that when he fired?
And hold on, I went through the bush. Yes, I went through the bush. And I went and I saw the coal kilns myself. I saw how they have it set up. I saw the bags were filled ready for export. And Mr. Bain did not, he was relentless in getting those coal kilns down to a level where it might have been 1 or 2. I know before Vaughn Miller died, he tried to take some credit to say that, oh, I did something with the coal kiln. But I'm going to tell the Bahamian people, it was Mr. Lincoln Bain who went through those bushes, and he was the one who went on his live and he brought the awareness to the Bahamian people. And I want to make that clear tonight. That's why I'm taking time out on your show, Clint, to go over these things. But I thought that the two parties did not show up yesterday, and it was a fair, F-E-A-R, of accountability.
Let's stay there since Dr. McGavin shifted our show for a second. I have no problem going there first. Since we started out there, let's continue there. We'll always come back to my situation. my question, sorry. The woman you endorsed, she came on. She was there. Yes. And interestingly, I got a lot of feedback from people saying, oh, this is the first time I've heard about her. I've heard her speak. A lot of people were impressed by her because it was the first time they had an opportunity to hear her views and hear her speak. She came out. She had no problem facing the music as an independent candidate and taking the question on and talking about it. Your thoughts on your last night's show or no show?
I did watch, and of course, you spoke to the fact that the other parties did not show up. But those who did show up, I would like to say that the BCP has support endorses Miss Kim Butler in the Golden Isles constituency. And the point of that is Miss Butler is very articulate. Yes. Very smart. She's an educator, a former educator. She's an attorney, an independent attorney. And the reason we have endorsed her is because the BCP in our campaign going forward is collaborating to a great degree with other smaller parties and independent candidates. We are looking and we want the Bahamian people to see the person, the character, the integrity of persons rather than just for the party that they're representing. And we have no problem with being able to endorse her as an independent candidate because we know she's going to be able to speak to the issues. As we saw on the show last night, she was very articulate, very fearless. People commended her for being able to go against those guys in that big constituency called Golden Isles. And so I'm also impressed with her. And I do believe that she will do well. And I'm sure whatever happens, she will go to the general election and to make sure she have an opportunity to represent the people in the Parliament of the Bahamas.
This is a quiet first scene, Denari and Kyle. I mean, I'm sitting there waiting to see if they can jump in, and they're quiet.
Let the ladies speak.
They're quiet. Go ahead.
Good evening, Bahamas. It's always a pleasure to be with my fellow panelists. But from the onset, let me just make it clear that I don't know what fair. There's no fair at all in the FNM candidate and the Free National Movement from the COI. We are in opposition. The COI tends to focus on the FNM more than they focus on the government, in my opinion, like they fighting for second place or something. They fighting just to have some relevance, right? And you see Doc would have sensationalized what she feels is going on inside Golden Isles. But
you're on the same team with that.
I see that the COI appears that they attack the FNM more than they are the government. We don't have nothing to prove. Brian Brown is not sitting member of the House of Assembly. He is not a part of the government. He doesn't even make up the opposition. So I don't know what she expects or what the COI expects for him to come on to sit on the show to have to defend. But what I would say is that yes, the show was, from what I was made to understand, for all of the Golden Isles candidates. For the record, Mr. Brian Brown never committed to attending, and for the mere fact that the F&M had a PR strategy in place from we was going into the election. If you would take note that prior to this week, all of last week and before, Brian Brown was on an array of shows, radio, TV, you name it. We was putting him out there, letting him speak. But now with the election 2 weeks away, and we have agreed that we are going to now focus on the ground. 7,900 voters are in the constituency. We need to go door to door and hear from the residents of Golden Isles, and so we have 2 shifts going out. Brian Brown was on the ground from 11 a.m. to 3, and then he was on the ground again at 4, again straight into the rest of the night. So that is why, Bahamian people, Brian Brown was not here tonight. It wasn't for the fair of the COI. The fact of the matter is he never committed to coming, and so I would say the COI is throwing out there, oh, the FM didn't show up, the PLP didn't show up. We never committed, just to be clear. We never committed to attend, and that's for the mere fact that Mr. Brian Brown was on the ground continuing to work for his residents as, like I said before, he was the campaign manager for former MP Vaughn Miller. He ran in 2021 as the candidate. That's 8 years of consecutive service. He did not close his headquarters. He is still working, and now he's aspiring to be the next member of parliament for Golden Isles in the upcoming by-election. And so that is why Mr. Brown was in here last night.
But maybe before you talk, let me
I
just
wanted to answer him. That's why.
That's fine. You could get in the box in my trade after this. Okay. Election is 2 weeks away, the by-election. When I look at candidate Brian Roll, he's lackluster. When I look at him, he doesn't represent hope. And I can understand why Dr. McGarvey wants to sensationalize the situation. But needless to say, that our candidate, Mr. Pickstock, he had already made some commitments to some constituents. Golden Isles is a very big constituency. He's on a tight schedule. Like I said, we're about 2 Mondays away from the by-election. We have teams going out in the morning, teams going out in the evening time. Like I said, his appeal is to the voters on the ground. And I can assure you, and I'm pretty sure that after he would have won this by-election, he's going to commit himself to coming on the show to make up for last night. However, when you want to appeal to voters, and you have already committed your time to see this one at this particular time and not one at that particular time, people are looking for a candidate that's going to keep their word. And so I believe it would have been unfair for him to put off his appointment with the electorate in Golden Isles to be seen on TV. Mr. Pickstock is committed. He's committed to change. His boots is on the ground. He's getting his hands and his feet dirty. And I like his passion. I like that he speaks truth to power. I understand Dr. McGarvey trying to give this narrative that he put his foot in his mouth. And you know, respectfully, I beg to differ. That is a narrative that the COI is trying to put out there, and they are famous. The Guardian. They are famous for, especially the Guardian. The Guardian. And I can tell you this. I don't follow the Guardian no more. I don't follow candidate names. It is my belief that she's biased, and she cannot separate her politics from her professional journalist, and that's my opinion. I say it to her face. Nonetheless, like I said, he is on the ground. He's committed to change, and when he said that the people of Golden Isles feels neglected, that is not putting your foot in your mouth. That is being honest. People are looking for real representation. If he's getting feedback from the constituency and the community, and he goes out and says something contrary to what people have been telling him, how can you now go back to those very same people after you lied about how they feel? And so he is in touch with the ground. He's truthful, he's realistic, and he is building trust back into representation on the whole. People feel like the constituents of Golden Isles felt neglected under all parties. And so it is the job of the candidate at this time to restore trust back into the political figures of our country, and that's what Mr. Pickstock is doing.
Okay, they've had their turn to talk. I hear both of them say their guys were on the ground. Listen, when you're on television, you have a much broader reach. You will have the opportunity to speak to Golden Isles constituency. Why would you turn that down and go and speak with one person? Surely You have a management team that could have handled that. So I don't understand that argument at all.
No, Dr. MacGyver.
That doesn't make any sense at all. And not only that, you all had a lot of advertisements on the television, follow me now, that you're paying money for, that was scripted. You want to control the narrative. Again, I said you were afraid to have them in a debate form. And hold on, let me finish talk. I have to handle this. This is the problem that we have in this country today. We are not able to debate one another. That's why even for leaders, Mr. Bain has actually asked Mr. Pintard and the Prime Minister to debate with him. In America, in the first world countries, they have debates. And you know why you have debates? The people in Golden Isles, where's the camera? The people in Golden Isles want to look, they want to see the eyes of their candidate to see whether they are trustworthy. And that is why you need to have live debates. And that's why I cry shame on the PLP, on FNM for not showing up last night. And I don't care how you take it, it's a fair of accountability.
We are here right now on behalf of the FNM and the PLP, and we could debate. We could go toe-to-toe. We could go toe-to-toe last night.
You got an A in drama.
We could go toe-to-toe right now.
I want to express myself because, let me tell you something, I care for the Bahamian people, and what I am expressing, that's the passion I have for the Bahamian people. And you not coming yesterday, hold on, you not coming yesterday, you're disrespecting the Bahamian people by not coming on the show.
But that's your assumption. I beg to differ. That's your assumption, because if a campaign takes a strategy approach that in the initial phase, and I'm making it clear, the FNM position was in the initial phase, the first rollout, 2 weeks, we will be on show and radio, like you said, we doing our ads, we're conducting our talk shows, and we're talking to the Bahamian people, we're talking to the residents of Golden Isles within the first 2 weeks.
Was the strategy,
and then after,
if that was the strategy, then why not say to the national network, we're going to, for the 2 weeks, we're going to be on the air. The other 2 weeks leading up to elections, we won't be. So if you want to have us, we'll be happy to be on during that 2 week period. There was no appearance on any of our ZNS television shows. And so I'm trying to figure out...
This was after the fact, though, Clint.
What do you mean after the fact?
When I say after, we are now on the ground. We're on the ground side of the strategy.
You were saying
the request came in during the time where we had already agreed that we would be on the ground.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. So if you agree that the next 2 weeks leading up to elections, you're going to be on the ground and not doing media, if that was your strategy, then I would think that you would call and say, well, before we get to that last 2 week period, can we come on and talk with have our candidate interviewed so that the country can hear about him and hear more about him during this period that we're going to be doing interviews? I'm no expert in it, but I'm thinking if you said you're not going to do media 2 weeks leading up to the election, I don't know how beneficial that is to not do media leading up to the election.
The candidate being on the show, but that don't mean the party still can't do media. I'm here right now, Clint. And like I said, the request just came after the fact. So that is why it wasn't communicated that this is the strategy. It came after the fact that it was suggested, and that's why it was here. So I'm just want to make it clear.
Understood. No,
it's no disrespect. It's nothing to fair of the COI. No. The candidate for the COI, Mr. Brian Root, he sat here on the TV yesterday and said, there's nothing you can do if you're not the government. So I'm trying to figure out, why is he offering himself? The COI is not going to be the government. So what are you going to do if you trying to run a country? You have to have a record. No, I'm serious. But you have to, for me, in my view, as a upcoming leader in this country, you have to have a track record that people could feel that, let me view and take a look at, that now you can lead me. Because if I'm telling you that I only could lead you when I become in government, then what if you never become in government? That means you will never be a leader? And so we have to have a track record for people who are tending to be candidates, for people to take a reference and look at. And that is what the FNM is now presenting. Candidates with track records, candidates who could prove it in their communities, and candidates who could come now and build off their profile in this country.
That brings me back to what I said the first time, right? When I saw Brian Rule at nomination day, I was like, Jesus Christ, he's a lackluster candidate. He don't walk with no energy. It's like he's just dead. And so when you compare him to Pickstock or Brown, there's no comparison. The PLP and the FNM has a better candidate than the COI.
Hold on, now let me just, okay, that's your opinion. People are not looking for how much money you have, how charismatic you are. They're looking for efficiency. They're looking for efficiency.
He couldn't even make the walk to
good. We did. He walked with us. No, they're looking for efficiency. And let me answer Denari. Denari, you have to understand that when independents are in the House of Assembly, in Parliament, I should say, keep in mind the government of the day usually have the resources. They usually set the agenda for Parliament.
Agreed.
So, so some independents, you may think they're at a disadvantage, but let me tell you the advantage they have. They do not have to succumb to the whip in Parliament. And because of that, they are able to speak truth to power in the Parliament and talk the people's business, and they become a champion of the people because they are able to speak in Parliament what you and other members who are in government cannot speak, because you are under what they call in parliamentary procedure, you're under the whip, and an independent person will not be under the whip.
Okay, we got to go to a break. We're going to come back.
Hiram Lewis in the house now.
Right.
He is inside those now for the COI. How impactful has he been?
Yeah. So for a couple of minutes, and I'm still the host, we're going to go to a break. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, I want to talk about the fact that do we believe debate style is important for Bahamian politics, and should we be moving toward that direction? Yes or no, and how do you feel about it? We'll talk about it when we come back. You're watching The Rundown. We're back after this. Stick with us.
Our company has a simple philosophy, open hands. What do open hands mean? If you keep your hands closed, nothing comes in, nothing goes out. If you keep your hands open, a lot of things comes in, a lot of things goes out. We cannot expect to be a successful company without blessing our community and blessing our country.
My good friend and valued client, Dominic Stirrup, approached me following a meeting we had and told me of the idea that he had of feeding 10,000 Bahamians on Thanksgiving.
There was a lot of details to put together, had to figure out how to get it done, but at the end, it was worth it. At the end, it gave me a heart of gratitude to know that our company is reaching out to so many persons.
We invite you on a journey to witness an extraordinary chapter in the story of the Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, a tale of compassion, unity, and the true spirit of Thanksgiving.
Welcome back. It's Political Roundtable here on The Rundown. Our panelists tonight, they hot, okay? So let's just continue back our discussion. So before the break, we were talking about whether in the 21st century we should be moving to debate style in politics, whether candidates should be made to stand up and debate, particularly running as a constituency with their other candidates. Should they be made to talk about the issues? Should they be made to talk about their platforms and what they want to do? Or is it okay for them not to be able to do that and just do one-on-ones that are kind of a little more contained and so forth? Or should they be required to debate?
Yes, let me, if I may. I'm just respectful of that wonderful conversation you all had, so I thought I'd respond first. I think debate's very important in political elections because we need to know who's going to represent. We need them to be articulate. We need them to have the kind of energy that's going to say to people, you can represent me in Parliament. You're going to go and speak for me. So this is very important that debates happen. However, in our debate, we ought to be respectful of the other candidate. And I see that if we are going to go there, if we're going to mature to there, we're going to have to remember that. I'm a journalist. I'm a broadcaster. And when I come on a show like this, I think about taking 2 minutes and letting the other person talk.
Right.
Taking 2 minutes, unless I'm on a show by myself or it's just two people, because you can go along. You can go longer. And so we can go to debate, but we have to learn. The candidates, the people who are responding, has to learn what is the protocol, what is the etiquette of being on a debate.
In other words, you gotta have a certain level of maturity.
Oh yes, I have to go. We have to go there.
Maybe we're not ready for it then, if that's the case.
I just want to say from the onset that we do, the F&M support debate-style leadership. You would have heard our leader, Michael Pinter, already go on record stating that if the Prime Minister is ready, if Lincoln is ready, you call the place, call the name, he'll show up and he'll be there. So the F&M is not afraid. I am record saying that. That's why I like to come on Claim Show. This is what I call a mini debate. But to talk Ali's point, the debate, when you set it up, it's controlled by a narrator, and you have the four, you know, and you have 2 minutes. So we could always set it up at the time frame or whatever like that, so it wouldn't be as free-flowing as it is up here. But definitely, we support it, and I think that's the millennial and Gen Z style. They want to see what their leaders are bringing to the table, what your, like Carl say, spontaneousness. If you have spontaneous story, you got to be spontaneous, charismatic, with your energy looking like, and most importantly, what are your ideas for their community? What are your ideas to empower their lives? And so I support it as well.
So
I'm
do you
always up
think
for
that
debate.
the debate only should be between the men?
No,
leaders.
leaders. I just was making it clear that we, at the Free National Movement, and the leaders supports the debate style at any leader.
She said that
women or female, any leader.
We're not talking about just the debates. We're talking about the leaders' debate. She said that. You said that.
No, I'm saying, so across the divide, let's debate.
Let's start, when we start talking about debating Michael Pintard and Lincoln Davis and Lincoln Bain, let's talk about Ali McIntosh, because I'll be glad to sit on it.
You will get on that as well.
Of course.
Well, you're the leader of the BCP, so why not? I'm not trying. I wasn't trying to leave you alone. I wasn't trying to leave you a servant leader. I wasn't trying to leave you alone. Yes, I wasn't trying to leave you.
I went to debate in high school.
By all means, join them. By all means.
May I suggest, when she was concerned about, you know, having rapport and everything during the debate, they're usually very structured. You have a certain time frame, and the bell will ring or something will go off, and then, you know, they taper down. So I wouldn't have a problem with that. So I don't see that as being a problem. But I could tell you, my leader, Mr. Lincoln Bain, he is so enthused about having a debate with Brave and Pintard that he is willing for the narrator to give the questions to Pintard and Brave ahead of time, and he will come there with unscripted, and that's how confident he is in a debate. And I can say, like you say, don't be rude to anyone, but we know the ability of, how do you say, people who can speak, and we know the problems that we have with some of our leaders. So they'll have a very difficult time on that debate stage.
Well, let me say this, Clint. I'm 100% sure the Prime Minister's not afraid to take on a challenge of debate. We see it all the time in the House of Assembly, the exchange between him and the Honorable Michael Pintard, and so that is no issue. But you know, when Ali McIntosh talked about decorum, the first thing that came to my mind was someone stating, "Stop smoking crack." Remember that scene at the House of Assembly? And so that shows me that the leader of the COI has no kind of decorum if he's going to go there and antagonize the leader of the opposition, call him a crackhead, call him this, call him that. And so the level of maturity of the leader of the COI is not there. And I also feel this way because Lincoln Bain is a great orator, right? He could sell ice to an Eskimo. So he's good at selling dreams. He's good at fabricating a lot of stuff, and then he like to say, if I lie, sue me, which to me is another sign of immaturity. And I'm 50-50 on the debate because I like to see a debate. I like to debate myself, right? Which is why I come here every Tuesday and once on Wednesday. I like a good debate. However, I believe that if we didn't have if our Prime Minister wasn't based on the majority of seats in Parliament, but based on who's voted in as specifically Prime Minister, that would have a greater impact. That's just my opinion. If you choose like a Republican,
I have to answer. Allow me to answer him though.
I'm trying to answer it. Kevin Moss online in the Lions Den said debates it's good, but we always have good talkers as leaders. We need doers. We get good talkers, but not doers. doers with vision. Glenda says, I've always had lots of respect for Miss McIntosh. Ali Thompson says, I agree with Kyle. Lincoln is not mature enough to be in Parliament. Who else is? I'm trying to get these comments in. All right, I think that's most of it. Nathan Toy, anyone would tell you that being on ground, seeing and hearing the person is better than having your candidates behind a TV screen doing constant interviews. Now, much more substance within person than behind the screen.
Let me say,
I love to see debates come to Bahamian elections for sure.
I have to take the floor because Kyle, I can't let him get by with this. When he said that Lincoln said about the crackhead,
I didn't say it.
You said that that is what he said.
No,
now,
but that's what I heard him say. You're crackhead.
Yes,
just for the record, if you see the whole exchange, it started with the leader of the opposition making a comment to Mr. Bain.
Hold on.
And making a personal comment about him not being able to keep his wife or something of the sort. And that's when the exchange took place.
He was getting heckled.
Hold on.
Just for the record, he was getting heckled by the COI supporters by the barrier because he was trying to assist the young lady. And Mr. Bain was there saying, oh, you, and probably knew you didn't do this. You see it. And so when Mr. Pintard answered the lady, then he was like, oh, you can't do the beam like, you can't do the beam like. So that was like, it was like an antagonistic type of approach. And Clint, for the record, if I was Mr. Pintard, I wouldn't have answered. I felt he should have just walked away too because he playing in the playing the mud with the pig, like he's falling to his level. I think he should have stayed above the fray if it was me. But so because I don't want them to say because I'm after him, I'm just offending him. But I'm just being real. He should have walked away as the leader because you shouldn't have stooped to that level. But he is antagonistic and he should have avoided it. And should have avoided Mr. Bean on any cause because this wasn't the first time he actually went in the smoker's room when the opposition was given a press conference to point up at Mr. Pintard's face. So that in itself is crazy.
Listen, Pintard told a lady at that event, Pintard told a spectator there, I am not talking to you, or shut up, or something like that.
He did not say shut up. He said, I was a COI candidate. He said, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the next lady.
Let me finish. I am speaking. Let me finish. I am speaking. And Mr. Bain told him, you should not speak to a Bahamian like that. Anyway, when Mr. Bain walked off and Pintard walked off, Clint Watson was correct. Pintard gave 3 low blows to Lincoln Bain.
That's all?
There were comments like, oh, you can't keep a wife, or you don't do something to rent, or something like that. Or he say, oh, you're a weak leader.
He can't keep a job.
Lincoln said, you are a weak leader.
All his business
and then he walked off. And Lincoln did say that comment, but I could tell you, the majority of Mr. Lincoln Bain is that he recognized that Pintard giving those low blows got him a little ruffled, and at church that night, him and Pintard happened to be in church. Do you know Mr. Bain took the high road and he apologized to Mr. Pintard, and Pintard never apologized to Mr. Bain for those 3 low blows. Low blows. Hold on. And the fact that we know that it was low blows, the newspaper alluded to that, and also Eyewitness News alluded to that, so we know that that's on the record, that Pintard did say those things to Mr. Bain that got him all riled up, and then he realized that he was wrong, and he apologized. And guess what? That's an honorable thing to do, to apologize when you know you're wrong, and I gave him kudos for that.
But let me say this. This goes back to what I said some shows ago. The COI is a bunch of bullies. Because you have the leader of the opposition speaking. We may not share the same politics, but you have to show respect to where respect is due. You cannot have your candidate bullying the leader of the opposition and expect him to just take that. You cannot expect that.
He was talking over because he was trying to get the lady's contact.
He did not bully him.
No. Let me tell you what happened. The leader of the opposition was speaking to a lady in the crowd. A COI candidate was heckling him and throwing stupid remarks because they bullies. That's what they do.
No, she had an autistic child, and she wanted to know what is the solution for the autistic children.
And all the honorable Mr. Pintard was trying to do is get the lady contact her sister.
And Pintard keeps saying, told the lady in the front, can I have your number? I'll call you. When the spectators ask you questions, generally you are supposed to be informed and you are supposed to be able to answer them. So there were two mothers there. There were 2 mothers. Listen, there were 2 mothers there who had autistic children, and the one in the back wanted to hear what he is saying to the one in the front. He never answered them. He said, "Can I have your number?" So the lady said, "No, I am here. I have an autistic child too. Can you answer us?" So I'm just trying to explain the point.
At the end of the day,
and the point is, he never answered the question, and he told the lady,
opposition
"Shut up,
leader
I'm
was
not
trying to
talking
do was get a contact to assist.
But I think
a spectator shut up. You can't do that.
I think what that lesson taught us, everybody in this country, is that when temperatures get high, it's always best to diffuse it by walking away.
Yes.
Because sometimes when you're caught up in the emotion of things, you say things that you ordinarily would not say because of the emotion of things. And that's one thing as national leaders, people have to learn is even in the height of it, walk away. But you can't expect, even if you're being antagonized by the public, you can't expect the public to be held to the same standard you expect to be held to as a national leader. They ain't gonna play rules fair. You can't say, well, they shouldn't have said nothing to me. They don't play by new rules. They will say what they feel is on their mind or on their hearts. It is up to you as to how you respond to it, or how you respond to each other in it, or how you handle the matter. You have to learn to diffuse. And I think at the end of the day, this is why we see in so many countries, there is such a separation of national leaders from being able to intertwine and mingle with the public, because the public don't have any rules to play by. But they can easily cause you, and we don't see what they do, but we see your reaction. And that's what's picked up, is your reaction. And that's why you have to be so careful. It's a lesson to everyone that in these heated moments and times, it's always best to bring it down and to walk away before responding, because you end up saying, boy, I wish I just didn't say anything, and I walked away.
There is a word, if I may, that is now among people talking about the leadership, is emotional intelligence. Most people don't understand what that means. But when you get in a situation like the one that they have been discussing, you have to think the bigger picture. Where am I going? And sometimes if you could just think, where am I going? You will walk away. But emotional intelligence means you have to separate your emotion from what is being said or what is being done in order to make sure that the right outcome happens. And that has to be very key in politics. You know, I mean, I have some patience, little patience, but I'm always being reflective in that moment. Should I say this? And sometimes I even have to withdraw or apologize, because you have to make sure that the decorum that's necessary for you as a leader always on the table.
We're going to go to break. When we come back, I want to pick up again with campaign finance. Y'all think y'all getting away from that. Y'all think getting away from that. Campaign finance, should we have it in place? And I want to talk about something that happened obviously with the nurse at the Ministry of Health. What should happen? What should happen in that regard? We're back after this. Stay close.
Fashion was something that I've always loved. I always, as a child, loved to see women just impeccably dressed. But my thing was drawing the looks and mixing colors, and fashion was in my blood. My name is Dr. Jillian Curry Williams, and I'm the designer for Remilda Rose Designs. What sets me apart, that I pay attention to detail. Like, I have an eye for detail. I pay attention to the construction of my garment. I want to make sure that when my garment is completed, that you can wear that on the wrong side or the right side, because it's impeccably made. I put my personality into my passion. Well, the fabric of hope was inspired by my father. My father had cancer, and I would go with him to treatments and seeing everybody just look despondent and dreary. And one day this lady dropped her mom off, and her mother fell when she got inside. And I was like, wow, like, God, like, I'm only a fashion designer. Like, what can I do to assist these people? I know God had me to create it to inspire persons with cancer or any illness that there's hope, that there is light at the end of that tunnel. The encouraging word I would give to women, it's been in my heart for a couple of days, to speak to the older women who may feel that I'm 40, what can I do? I'm 50, what can I do? And that's when the fire in us kicks in. We've had the work experience, we pass all those tests. So take that idea that God has given you and put it to use. This is where it all begins.
To learn more about the Women Entrepreneurs Initiative, visit our website or contact us at 461-7232. And remember, empowered women empower women.
got termites and need to get rid of them fast, trust Rentokil Initial. With over 60 years experience in the Bahamas, the global brand, training, and expertise can't be beat. Only Rentokil Initial gives you a 3-year warranty and payment plan options on termite fumigation. No one can match the range of treatments we offer, such as fumigation, pre-construction treatments, termite monitoring, and more. No matter where you are in the Bahamas, we will come to you. When it comes to complete termite eradication, there's only one name, Rentokil Initial.
What's trending in business? Who's making major money moves? And how's it shaping your future? This is Economics, your front row seat to the biggest stories in business, innovation, and finance. Powered by the Sand Dollar, the digital currency of the Central Bank of the Bahamas. It's fast, secure, Bahamian. We're breaking down the numbers, the news, and what it means to you. Tune in every Thursday at 6 p.m. for the trends, the insights, and the stories that matter. Get informed, get inspired, get in the mix with Economics.
Welcome back to Political Tuesdays. We're talking about things political, obviously. And the question we're asking now is campaign finance reform. Should it be put in place? Should parties be made to declare who's financing them?
Yes. Go ahead. Yeah, I mean, the BCP has always, and for a long time, affirmed its standing in regards to the importance of electoral reform. Campaign funding is one of them. And the reason it's important is because when people fund a campaign, they're coming back for payback. And we want to know who and what it is you want. Well, the BCP has determined you can come with your money, but we want to know what you want. We need to know what you want, because if we don't know what you want, if we win the government, we can't just give you carte blanche. So it's a very important, and we think that the government, both the PLP and the FNM, during that time, has not agreed with campaign reform because they are not prepared to tell their donors. And I've seen even in the debate for the NPO bill, they have not included that. I remember being on a meeting with civil society and the Attorney General, this Attorney General, regarding why is not political parties included, and they do not have a good explanation as to why political parties, and they specifically asked me to ask the question, knowing that I'm involved in the politics, but I do believe that every cent that is donated to a political party should be part of the reckoning, and we should know who's funding.
Well, once again, we held a press conference sometime last year. The leader of the Free National Movement went on record and challenged the Prime Minister. You lay your documents. We are prepared to lay our documents. Again, I think this was all a part of the transitional style of leadership that the country is asking for. Like Ms. McIntosh said, not that I don't think it's as bad as it may seem. That's a part of transparency when you talk about the Freedom of Information Act and that sort of stuff. Bahamian people would have a better appreciation knowing who would have donated to the political party's campaign. And so when certain business is being conducted, I think if it's almost like when you're in the House of Assembly and you have to recuse yourself from conflict of interest or stuff like that, I think if you just leaders become more transparent, the residents and the Bahamians will start to understand a little bit more or trust the government with what it is that they're doing. But because we've been playing behind closed doors so much and we're not certain who's doing what, that's where all the skepticism comes from. But if you put everything out there and you are well aware that this one is supporting this person supporting that person, then you now have more informed decisions. You could have better understanding of what's at play and what's at stake. But what I would say is you have majority, though, of the donors, in my view, though, who might push back from wanting to be named because major donors prefer to remain quiet. So whilst politicians, I would say, generally might not matter or, worry, or the Bahamian people might say, this is what we want, the backers themselves, or the people with the money, I don't necessarily know if they would want to be out front and frank like that. So I think that's a discussion that we'll have to have specifically with them. But we're on record. You table yours, we table ours.
I'll let you go last, Doc. I remember the Honorable Michael Pinta made mention that you table yours, I table mine. But if you were so strong in campaign reform, lead by example, table yours.
What's the government?
Anyhow,
No,
it
no,
doesn't
see.
matter.
Okay, it's extremely easy to say you are the government, right? Being the government has nothing to do with printing off your party's finances and laying them on the House of Assembly for all to view. You don't have to be the government to do it.
But no, the PLP is very vicious kind.
Hold on.
And y'all just victimize people.
No.
So the minute y'all see that list, if they have work from y'all, they getting chopped. And that's how politics is work. So I can't let you, it ain't that straightforward.
That's a oxymoron. Yeah, we should do it. Lay it all out. Oh, but no, we can't lay it out because you can get chopped and you can get chopped.
No, but I'm saying the government, if the government table stays and the opposition table stays hand in hand, that's even playing field.
I think
you can see the opposition
the government table, and you might be surprised how similar to this.
But I'm just saying, one ain't going without data. You can see they can get victimized. Vote together. They can be one by itself.
We don't have to discuss it. If you are serious about it, go to the bank, print the list, table it, end of discussion. That's just how I feel. Also, to allude to a point, some people just want to remain private. If I'm a business owner, right? I'm not big in politics, but I have a friend who was out there trying to get somewhere around the table. And I say, man, listen, I want $25,000 towards a campaign, but I'm not political, and I don't want to be seen or there as political.
But then, are you then expecting in return that if I called you, you answer my phone call because I have a little problem where I need something approved?
I didn't answer.
I haven't finished answering yet.
Okay.
But not all of the time that is the case. Some people may just give because they believe in what you're doing, they believe in your vision, so you have that. Furthermore, if you're going to say, which I have no issue with the campaign finance and reform and putting it out there. I have no issue. I believe in transparency. Anything the Bible says, shun the very appearance of evil. So people who believe more in politicians and the process, if that happens, kudos. Let's go with what the people want because there's a democracy. So although I believe in it, how do you manage that? Because I may say, because I don't want my business out there, I'm not going to donate money. I could donate supplies. So, okay, what you need for your grill and chill, what you need for your party in the backyard, and I may just authorize it and have the stuff delivered to your head office. It's going to be very hard to manage that.
They have grill and chills. You didn't know that?
Yeah, no. But the point to fix it. I
haven't had a chance
but it's just adding to their point. The point to make clear what it is Kyle is saying is what we have been recommending: an independent electoral commission and an integrity commission. These two commissions will allow people to nominate at different times and not in the little 3-hour window, and also allow election reform to take place where the commission actually receives the donors list rather than it being for public scrutiny. If you want to see it, you come into the commission and get it. So people won't be afraid to present their names, present their donations, but the commission is able to make sure any person coming from the public can come in and view it. And that's a better way.
Campaign finance reform, that's been talked about for over 50, 60 years in the Bahamas. Nothing has been done. They keep kicking the can down the road, and I think any wise person will know what the reason is. The present administration said that it is not of high priority. I can't imagine why he would say that. And his donors, let me go to what you said so I can make sure I agree with you about having the Independent Management Commission. We do need that as part of the electoral reform, because you cannot have the two administrations making those decisions. And to ask your question about, somebody said about the donors not wanting to disclose, you can put a certain amount, like how if you could say up to 50,000, up to 20,000, up to 10,000, they could be undisclosed. But if you start giving 50 million or 10 million or 20 million, that must be disclosed.
Okay, I can accept that.
You could accept that? So I think we can go along with that. But campaign finance reform is mandatory because it makes a level playing field. for all of the parties and the competitors.
I just want to ask Dr. McGive a question. But I want to make a statement first. I remembered the FNM under the leadership of Dr. Hubert Minnis. A part of his platform was to introduce campaign finance reform, term limits for prime ministers, recall system. We have seen none of that. And so, you know, it's good that we could promise all of these things, but when you're about to lose money and lose support, if you follow through, oftentimes people tend to turn to what is politically expedient. All right, so I just want to ask. I just want to ask you a question. I want to ask a question.
Yes, that is correct. Minnis did kick the can down the road, and instead,
I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Is the COI prepared tomorrow? Because there are a lot of speculation surrounding who funds the COI, how they get the big headquarters, how they keeping the lights on. Is the COI prepared tomorrow or next week for you to bring a document on this show to say, ABC give 50,000, XYZ give 1 million?
Yes, if it becomes law tomorrow, yes, we will be prepared to lay that on.
See, this goes back to my point. Everybody talking about when it becomes law, right? You don't have to
But what is good is good is good for the goose, is good for the gander. So my point is this.
You do it first. You do it, I'll do it.
Okay, we don't have, hold on, let's get this,
the COI is admitting that they don't want to do it first. They don't want to lead by example.
I am saying that, hold on, let me finish
about the situation.
Listen, we don't have the funding that the two major parties have. This is an unequal, this is an unequal level playing field. That's why we need campaign finance reform. So when we get in, you could rest assured
you don't have to wait.
That will be on the...
You could show us tomorrow.
Listen to me. We will table that in the House of Assembly as soon as we can. We will table that.
As to who donates to the COI, you don't have to wait to get in the House.
We need to know.
You don't have to wait for it to become law. If the COI is so serious about what they speak, bring that list on the show next week. And say, we will lead by example.
We don't have anyone giving us millions of dollars. We don't have anyone giving us millions of dollars.
It's the principle of the matter. Hold on.
But if we did, we would be happy to say.
It's the principle of the matter. If you're going to preach and pontificate on this show about all this foolishness, bring next week the list. I would see you give your $5. I would see how much you're...
But it might be
Guess what? I've seen the COI with the 5-gallon bottles and the red lights collecting dollar bills.
Yes.
No report on how much they collected over the years they've been doing it. Lead by example, that's all they're saying.
Well, it's an unequal level playing field to where we have to go and get... We are like Obama. Obama used to get $5 and $2, and that's how he funded his campaign. So we took a page out of his book, and that's why we started with our $1, $2, $3.
Just before, if I may, just because I looking at the time, before the show end, right? You mentioned something briefly, and it was disturbing to me, that nurse. I have to talk about it.
We're going to break, and we come back and talk about it. Everybody
talk about it. I just want to ask, and I want to guess.
I know. We're going to catch her right after the break. That's what we're going to close with. Let's go to the break and come right back for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
After I was in a plane crash in June 1983, I lost my left arm. I had some good friends, came along, fishing guides. They said, man, we can teach you to fly fish. Exuma. Can you see? Look at it, man. One of the nicest places you want to be in the world. There were challenges learning to cast, learning to put a fly on a leader, learning to tie the different knots for me as a handicapped individual. As a matter of fact, I don't really feel handicapped because I could do everything, man. Anything anybody could do, I think I could do it too. Because with your mindset to do anything, no matter what you are, what you look like, what's happening to you, you can do it. Persons in our positions, it's hard to get fundings and very, very expensive. SBDC would be helpful in regards to help funding people with disabilities. So nothing is impossible if you're disabled. Any kind of disability. Put faith in God and trust God. Believe you will overcome.
Hi, I'm Brent.
Vice President of Retail and Sales here at CBS Bahamas in the Southwest Plaza on Carmichael Road. If you haven't shopped with us before, please give us a chance. We pride ourselves on terrific customer service. Our store is clean, large, we have thousands of products, we're open 7 days a week, and we have a nice, wide, spacious, comfortable layout for you to enjoy. Visit us in the Southwest Plaza on Carmichael Road or shop online at CBS.
Our final segment, we're talking about that recent incident where the nurse was reportedly suspended for doing a viral video on the conditions at the hospital. She's an intensive care nurse, and she was put on suspension by PHA. We also saw where the Minister of Health said, well, I don't agree with it. The former Minister of Health spoke on it, Dwayne Sanson, saying it was wrong as well, concerning the whistleblowing act, that she should have been protected. Surprisingly, from what we understand, it's still under investigation. It hasn't been reversed, despite the minister saying he disagreed. Well, he didn't have the power. Well, I guess I should say the power. He wasn't in his position to reverse it. PHA would have to reverse it, and it seems as if they haven't done that yet. Your say on this?
Probably the word moral authority would ring here when we are talking about both ministers, because the Princess Margaret Hospital is in a deplorable state, need to be fixed, and nobody's fixed it. She bring attention to it. None of them can speak because they left it like that. That's just my take.
Okay. My thing on it, I was agreed, right? Successive governments, we had issues with the PMH hospital, but needless to say, apart from that though, I feel like governments, for whatever reason, we have all the energy in the world to go after in my view, the small person, the person who's crying out for help. Why don't we have that same resolve in actually fixing the problem? You know what I mean? And it brings me even to the point of the minister now demanding more productivity whenever the pay increase comes. But for me, I feel like governments always target the small man, and then the upper echelons get to throw their legs up. The big dogs already got their pay. Everything rises and falls on leadership. This is how I lead, top down, being a manager, right? So if I'm not successful, then my staff ain't successful. So if I'm qualified enough to get my funding, or if I'm qualified enough to lead a charge, then if my staff crying out, then I think that falls particularly on me. I can't be good enough with all my staff that I get me, and then you are not able to get you. So she is a person crying out, and the reality is what she's saying is true. I had like 2 or 3 people message me about their child who was actually in that position. One of their children actually died in that care. So she witnessed firsthand, and she was like, as a mother, she couldn't believe the condition. The place was in the conditions. The people actually have to work in. We should have had that energy in actually solving the problem. And before I close, I like to bring my facts, right? This is why I say big dogs, especially with this government.
Let me get my
Clayton Fernanda had to resign.
You're like changing my topics.
The police officer, help me, this is in reference to the big dogs eating. The police officer right now challenging his dismissal from the force, which means the taxpayers will now have to pay for that case because he's saying it's wrongful dismissal. The former commissioner resigned. We reward him. His reward for with the corruption or the alleged corruption under his watch, we make him a consular general in Canada. But a nurse who is crying out on behalf of the people with serious conditions. What happened now? She's suspended without pay, but we rewarding bad behavior. To me, it can't be accepted. The small man always being attacked, and for whatever reason, our leaders, no matter what they do, they getting developed. The minister gone displaced. This one in the church give us something, they move him to another ministry. The top dogs always just getting moved around, and their salaries don't miss. But the small man always getting punished, and we need to stop that as governments, period. Stop doing that to our Bahamian people.
Mr. Watson, let me interject here, right? I don't agree with the suspension of the nurse. I had an incident yesterday where I had to call, where I saw an elderly gentleman. He's 95 years of age with shortness of breath. And when I was going to call the ambulance for him, he begged me not to. And he could not breathe. And it really hurt me because I looked at him and I said, my gosh, you mean to tell me that people are prepared to stay home and die before they go to the Princess Margaret Hospital? That hospital has been in disarray for years, right? And successive governments, we don't have to play politics with it. It was bad under the PLP, it's bad under the FNM. They have done minimal work to address it. I believe a long time ago that we needed a new hospital. And, you know, I'm glad to see that the government is taking steps to try to ensure that we have a new hospital and upgraded clinics. But we should not wait until PMHS became rat-infested. I mean, you can't walk in PMH without ratatouille, moving to the kitchen to go cook the food. So the nurse.
Speaking of kitchen, they have no kitchen there.
So let me say
by
so
UB.
The nurse.
What? The kitchen operated by UB.
Yeah. So the nurse.
PMH kitchen is operated by UB.
The nurse spoke out on that. All right. We already have a shortage of nurses. 500. What makes it worse is she's a specialized nurse. We don't have much ICU specialized nurses. I believe that what was done to the nurses is an injustice. I believe that the government need to intervene and issue a directive.
I agree.
Suspension be reversed.
I actually agree with Carl.
It should have never happened.
Okay.
And I watched that video over and over and over, and it's very sad because I could tell that nurse has a passion for patients. When you have to work in dire conditions, you have to provide medical care in those kind of conditions. It's an insult to the Bahamian people. And I just want to end my point with this. I was speaking to a friend this morning, and we were talking about the state of PMH and the lack of beds. I believe that when PMH was built, it was built for Bahamians and the population. So our healthcare system was built for the population that we have. But because we have an influx of migrants, it's putting such a strain on the healthcare that Bahamians cannot get adequate health care because it's just an overload on the healthcare system and on the nurses and the doctors.
Okay, I'll give you 30 seconds to close.
I'm the Shadow Minister of Health, so you can't give me 30.
I'll give you 40 then, go ahead. 40
okay, listen, when the story broke, as the Shadow Minister of Health for the COI, I sent an audio out saying that I stood by the nurse. After I did my audio, then the former minister, which is Dwayne Sands, he put his audio out, and then Dr. Darville. They all said the same thing, basically, that I said. And I think it's time that we knock that hospital down. The consultants from Texas, was, they advised both governments that they should build new buildings and that there's no chance for renovation of the Princess Margaret Hospital. I don't know why the two major parties have not listened to the consultants from Texas as yet. And then also to the nurse, I think the union nurse, she might have alluded to maybe some confidentiality clause, but I don't think it had nothing to do with confidentiality. She didn't say anything that any of us didn't know. Right. I already sent out some audios saying the same thing she said last year and the year before last. And I just want to say this. Everybody knows that I wrote it down in the Freedom of Information, Section 47. It says, this section explicitly protects whistleblowers who disclose information in the public's interest, especially when the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens are at risk. She was only helping to upgrade the health of the people around her, so she did nothing wrong. And I believe, just like everybody else on this panel, that she should be reinstated immediately.
Yes. I want to close on this because I think this brings up the bigger issue. The bigger issue we have in this country is, and PMH, we've seen it, it's been challenged under every administration, right? I don't think it ever ran as the way it could efficiently run. And it's not because it's a government hospital. It is because in the hospital, the people that operate it, that manage it, and that run it are Bahamians, right? And we love to blame a government for duties and responsibilities that we have people in these institutions that are supposed to function. And what do I mean by that? The rats and the rodents running around points to a bigger problem. Cleaning, maintenance. We're the people who are hired by government to do these work. A lot of them, because it's a political appointment job, they chill in, they walk in. I'm not talking about those, don't get me wrong, those who are functioning. This is not for you. there are too many people in government jobs not fully functioning. When they should be cleaning, they out doing something else. They on the phone. They mad, they disgruntled, they ain't come to work. They out sick for months. They fall down, they ain't coming to work for 8 months. So they're not, the people are on the payroll, but they're not carrying out the duties. They're also not taking their jobs serious. So is that the Minister of Health problem? Or is that a management problem? Who are responsible for managing the employees who are supposed to make sure this ward is clean? Who are supposed to make sure that these wards are functioning and servicing? The people in PHA, the people in hospital administration. These are people who have positions whose job is to manage, to lead.
Leadership.
And the problem is when people don't function and you want to make them accountable, then it comes in the union, who then say, oh, you can't touch my member, and your member's not doing their job. Yes, and it's costing lives. And so we keep on blaming sometimes the minister, but the minister don't run the day-to-day operation of the facility. We do. And we have become so accustomed to getting our own way. And if I feel like doing it, I'm doing it. And when the place falls apart, we're quick to blame the system when it's people that are ineffective. People use it all the time. They say, you know, people used to make a joke all the time. The nurses, they used to say back in the day, the nurses in BMH don't check for you and don't help you. And then when you go to doctor's hospital, the same nurse working at doctor's hospital privately, and all of a sudden she waited on you hand and foot. Why? Because it's in a private institution where there's a standard that you must operate by or you get fired.
Listen,
but not in the public system.
Before we close, I could tell you the reason why the hospital is not functioning is because of political interference.
Yeah.
And therefore, when things go bad, the minister, the buck falls at his feet and he's responsible.
I agree. And I think the reason why there's so much political interference is because a lot of people that work in these institutions at the top level are political people. They're political. They're appointed. Whenever we've changed governments, you change all these people in positions. And so now, because I'm appointed by the minister who I campaign for, you tell me it could happen to me. And then those who mad that they were moved out of the position, they say, I ain't doing nothing no more. I got exposed to everything because the minister doing wrong. I got exposed it and he moved me out of position. So there we have. And that's why it's so difficult to run public entities because of the interference of politics. You said it correctly. We've got to fix it, but it begins with us as Bahamians. We got to begin there. And again, I take nothing away from the hard-working Bahamians who are in these institutions who are still trying to keep it together with the situations and the circumstances they face. But I agree, we've got to fix it. We've got to fix it and start talking about it and making it political and just simply fix it.
Do you know something?
Bring that nurse back tomorrow, today, right now.
She's needed. Somebody in intensive care needs that nurse. And we have a shortage. And we got to afford to have somebody home.
Bahamians should pick up their relatives who are actually living in the hospital.
They drop them off there and don't come back for them.
That's an extended process, yes.
We did a whole show on it. Krishna Pinder's show on Sunday. She spoke to the PHA managing director. Borders, people drop off, literally drop off their loved ones and don't ever come back for them. And so they're living in the hospital. I just found out there's a school, a preschool in the hospital to teach the kids because there's so many kids living there. They have a school. And when I heard that in her show, I was shocked. There is a school in the hospital that teaches the children who are living there.
But it goes.
We've got to fix this problem.
Our communities and our families. We have an issue.
Yeah, we got to fix it.
The reconstruction of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas is what's necessary.
See, Alan, I wanted to. Oh, see, Alan, you tempting me, but I ain't gonna do it. You tempting me, see, Alan. I can call you Nancy. You. I can give you public exposure. I can call you Nancy. That does it for the rundown. Be sure to stay locked on this. Talking about they are politically appointed, just like ZNS. But in ZNS we function. That's the ZNS network, and of course you watch us every night. So we must be doing a wonderful job. See, Alan Johnson. Thank you so much. Watch the Bahamas tonight at 11. Said and turn. Come out of my broadcast voice now. Corville, you read the news tonight, Corville? Yeah. Corville, probably from the Bahamas tonight at 11. From all of us here at ZNS, the nation's leading news entity, that's C. Alan Johnson, who watches every night. I'm Clint Watson. Thanks so much for joining us. Good night, everybody.
At Lyford Key, I'm Tanya Smith Cartwright. This is ZNS.